What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description. 12DF Chapter 296 Daughter's Terrible Talent, please subscribe. After the birth of his daughter, Shi Shangyang also conducted an inspection immediately, and he did not tell anyone about the results of the inspection, not even Terumi Mei. The results were too exaggerated, and even he couldn't believe it. As we all know, although the blood of the ninja world can be inherited through blood, there is a certain probability of awakening in the middle. People with outstanding talent are likely to be awakened when they're young, and those who are later may not be awakened for a lifetime. In this regard, the Blood Genin clan has a strong say. Among the Blood Genin clan with more clan members, there will always be some clansmen with mediocre qualifications, ordinary people. But this situation did not appear on Shi Shangyang. She was like his brother Shi Shangyang, who inherited all the blood descendants that Shi Shangyang possessed with the same, 23. This is somewhat beyond Shi Shangyang's expectations. He had his daughter Shi Shangyang after he had finished the blood of the ninja world. He originally thought that he might inherit a few more blood and follow up boundaries from himself, but he never thought that Shi Shangyang would give all of them in this respect. He inherited it, which made him a little unexpected. Shi Shangyang thought about this for a long time and studied it for a while, but he couldn't find any clue. Shi Shangyang, like his older brother Shi Shangyang, inherited all the blood successors except Sharingan, all of them were dominant. What is explicit? It is the kind that is born in a state of awakening, which is similar to the Uchiha Sasuke created by Shi Shangyang with the blood of Uchiha Obito and Nohara Rin, because Uchiha Sasuke is a born 3-tomo Sharingan, which has never been seen in the Uchiha clan, and this situation is the dominant blood succession. If you count the blood on Shi Shangyang, if you count the Sharingan that has not been opened, there are as many as 11 types, namely Scorch style, Boil style, Lava style, Magnet style, 2-dun, Ice dun, Explosion style, Land dun and Wood style. If it weren't for the fact that there were a few blood follower boundaries that were not found, maybe this number would have been even more. In this way, Shi Shangyang's expectations for his daughter are somewhat higher than the eldest son Shi Shangyang, but at the same time, it also makes Shi Shangyang feel a little indebted to the eldest son. What will be the reaction when there is no sister in Shuiji's boundary for a long time? The two children were able to inherit so much blood. Shi Shangyang looked for the reason from himself and felt that it might be because of the system, otherwise there could be no other reason. Advertisement. His abilities all come from the system card, and the same is true for the Shuiji limit. Maybe because of the system card, the Shuiji he obtained will be less of the process of awakening, and he will have the Shuiji directly after using the card. Therefore, considering this aspect, he feels that it is very likely that the blood in his body is dominant from beginning to end. It is precisely because of this that the two children have inherited their own blood, so the blood in this respect is also inherited, and the boundaries of the blood inherited in the past are also dominant. This made Shi Shangyang a little suspicious, whether this kind of dominance in the boundary of blood will be rooted in his own blood since then, and if these two children have children in the future, will they be the same as these two? Like children, born with the awakening of these blood descendants? If this is the case, then there will be a terrifying Ishigami clan in the ninja world in the future. Just thinking about it like this made Shi Shangyang feel a little unbelievable. But now this is just a conjecture, it needs to be verified with time, and if you want to know the result, you can only know when these two children grow up and finally give birth to their own offspring. Shi Shangyang is not in a hurry. On the contrary, he thinks that this is a good research topic. If the recessive and dominant gene expression of the Shuiji limit can be deciphered, then it is impossible to say that the ninja world in the future will be able to achieve the achievements of the whole people's Shuiji. Pull away. The two children, as usual, are looking forward to their father returning home, because Shi Shangyang is willing to spend time with the two children and play with the two children. The children are more affectionate to Shi Shangyang than to Terumi Mei. This makes Terumi Mei somewhat tasteful. She obviously spends more time at home taking care of her two children than Shi Shangyang, but the two children are closer to Shi Shangyang, which must make her a little unbalanced. Fortunately, Shi Shangyang knew her emotions and took care of her on weekdays. When it comes to women, patience cannot be lost at any time. It just so happens that Shi Shangyang has always performed very well in this aspect of patience. Well, the lunch is very rich, it's all the dishes you like to eat. It seems that your mother put a lot of effort into this meal, you should eat more. Advertisement. After Shi Shangyang sat down, he smiled, and it was a compliment, which made Terumi Mei smile unconsciously. His family used a round table for dinner, and replaced it with other ninjas, or a more old-fashioned family, usually a long table, so that the man as the parent would sit in the main seat, thus unconsciously showing his role in the family status. Shi Shangyang doesn't care about this at all, he has always held the concept of transmigration, otherwise it would be impossible to think about transforming the entire ninja world. Father, can you teach me ninjutsu after dinner? Shi Shangyang asked expectantly. This question has come up many times at the dinner table. Shi Shangyang used to reject it because he was young, but this time, he nodded with a smile. Okay, I'll teach you a fire-style tolerance after dinner. Technique 5. Really? That's great, Shi Shangyang suddenly cheered. Terumi Mei glanced at Shi Shangyang with some doubts, with a hint of questioning. Shi Shangyang said with a smile, don't be surprised, you has been looking forward to it for a long time, because he was too young before 3.1, I was afraid that he would take the risk of being a master ninjutsu, and he would not be able to show off among his peers. No. After rejecting so many times, he should also know the importance of ninjutsu, and I believe he will be more cautious. Terumi Mei nodded slightly. Well, it's up to you to decide anyway. I want me too, Shi Shangxi hurriedly said. Shi Shangyang shook his head. No, you are still too young. If you want to learn ninjutsu, at least you have to wait until you are 5 years old. This will not change. Shi Shangxi suddenly raised a small mouth with an unhappy look on his face. Let's eat. Shi Shangyang rubbed Shi Shangxi's little head, but didn't explain anything. Chapter 297 Many arrangements in the village. Please subscribe. Family is always a haven for a person to rest. Shi Shangyang is no exception. No matter what important things are outside, after returning home, he will let go of these things and accompany his family and children to grow up, in Shi Shangyang's opinion as the most important. The family of 4 enjoyed themselves happily and had a delicious meal. After dinner, Shi Shangyang fulfilled his promise and taught Shi Shangyu a fire-style ninjutsu in the courtyard. Nothing else. It is the most representative sea-level ninjutsu great fireball technique in fire style. This technique has basically become the enlightenment ninjutsu of many ninjas, and Ishigami Yu is no exception. It has to be said that his Shi Shangyang's child is not only exaggerated in physical talent, but also strong in learning talent. Just after watching Shi Shangyang perform it once, Shi Shangyu learned it like he did, and he used it for the first time. Come out. Seeing this, Shi Shangyang nodded slightly. Very well. You have already mastered this technique, and you need to familiarize yourself with the rest and try to improve the power of this technique. But there is one thing you have to remember, my expectations for you, 14 do not want you to become a combatant. Sequence ninja, I hope you can recognize the essence of ninjutsu and create more ninjutsu of your own, understand? Shi Shangyu rejoiced because the master had mastered a ninjutsu, and nodded solemnly when he heard the words. I understand, my father, what you said. People can't be immersed in the power of ninjutsu, and people should control the power, and people should not be controlled by power. Shi Shangyang nodded gratified, and he was very satisfied that his child could see through this at the age of 5. Most people in the ninja world have always pursued powerful ninjutsu, which is the nature of ninjas, but in Shi Shangyang's view, this is a bit of a waste of time. Over the years, his pursuit has been all the magic of chakra itself, not the powerful power of ninjutsu, and it is precisely because of this that he has the power of Tien Nomura. You continue to practice and look forward to the day when you can create your own ninjutsu. Yes, my father. After resting at home for a while, Shi Shangyang went out. Advertisement. He likes the family atmosphere very much. In the past, he spent more time at home than outside, but after all, he still needs to deal with and busy with some things. After all, the ninja world has reached a critical period, and his various plans and layouts have also it's almost time to see the results. In the afternoon, in a large conference room of the chief building, the senior management of TNG Village were present one by one. In addition to the veterans such as Orochimaru and Nohara Rin, the current top management of Tien Village also has some new faces. Some of these people are talented Tien Village ninjas, and some are research talents with great achievements in scientific research. In the village, as long as you have talent and work hard enough, there will be a way to ascend. The talent channel in Tianji Village has always been open. Compared with other ninja villages, Tianji Village has a lot of opportunities to make a breakthrough, and there are no obvious class barriers, and the class mobility has always been very good. This is the result of Shi Shangyang's efforts over the years. What he wants is an active force, not a force whose ascending passage is about to be blocked like other villages. Everyone, the situation in the ninja world seems to be stable now, but in fact it is turbulent in secret, and it is time to explain some things to everyone. Shi Shangyang opened his mouth and looked solemn. Those who can participate in this meeting are basically the high-level villagers, and they are all trustworthy. Even a guy like Orochimaru has established a deep bond with the village over the years. Shi Shangyang can feel this. Arrived. When everyone heard the words, their expressions became solemn. Then I heard Shi Shangyang say, there is a document in your hand, and now you can look at it. It is about the life of Uchiha Madara, the ninja Shira, and some conspiracies and arrangements he planned. This is the what I'm about to say next. 35. Everyone has seen this document for a long time, but without Shi Shangyang's order, no one opened it. This is Shi Shangyang's authority in Tianji Village. Only Orochimaru and Nohara Rin were present and did not read this document, because they had already known all this, and attending the meeting was just to show their attitude. Everyone opened the information and looked at it, and then their expressions changed. It's really what the data says. It's too shocking. No one would have thought that Uchiha Madara, the ninja world Shira, actually had such a plan, thinking about resurrecting and capturing the tailed beast to become Ten Tails Jinchuriki, thus using infinite Tsukuyomi hypnosis to complete the whole ninja world and achieve that so-called peace. Everyone's heart sank, and they felt a lot of pressure. Advertisement. Since Shi Shangyang took out this document, it means that everything written on it is true. From this point of view, Tien Jikun is also involved in this conspiracy. Some of the people present knew that Three Tails was in the village of Tien. Since it was written that the other party wanted to capture the tailed beast, then Three Tails must be in existence that the other party could not avoid.
In this way, the village of Tien must protect it.
Good, 3 tails will do. You don't have to worry. In fact, I have known all this from the very beginning.
Now I tell you, I don't want everyone to come up with a solution for this, because I have my own plan in this regard. What everyone needs to do now is to be vigilant, and work hard to develop yourself and strengthen the village of Tien. This is the key to our defense against this conspiracy. Do you understand? 203 inches. Understood, Chief. Everyone responded, and their hearts were relieved. Shi Shangyang nodded slightly, and then said to Nohara Lin, the cracking work of Rinne Tensai technique also needs to speed up the progress, especially the part about Wangquan. We must find the reason for its existence. 99.
After so many years, they have almost blind trust in Shi Shangyang, and many people have a busy worship of him. It seems that as long as Shi Shangyang is there is nothing he can't do.
Nohara Lin nodded slightly. I will, don't worry. Yes, there is no need to worry too much about this kind of thing when the leader is there. Is there anything that the leader can't do? For this situation, Shi Shangyang did not want to change in the past. Worship is not a bad thing, at least not a bad thing for him. Orochimaru, complete the spirit transformation experiment as soon as possible, there is not much time left for you. Shi Shangyang said. Please subscribe. Next, Shi Shangyang issued several orders, which were roughly the arrangements for the village's next affairs. Orochimaru grinned and hissed. Don't worry, the progress is very good. I believe it won't be long before the results of the spiritual body transformation experiment will be completed, and with the power of the wedge, the inorganic reincarnation technique will be completely completed. Quote. Chapter 298 is stronger than Otsutsuki, please subscribe. The village now has a variety of high-end experimental research, most of which are based on chakras research. For example, the most important research Orochimaru is currently doing is the perfection of the inorganic reincarnation technique. This technique originated from Raichi Cave. It is a kind of fairy technique unique to Raichi Cave. It can give life to inanimate inorganic things and control them. It is not a simple ninjutsu that uses chakra to control substances. Because it is a sage art, the conditions for using it are very strict, and there are no more than 10 people who are capable of using this art in Tien Village. The perfected inorganic reincarnation technique, as the name suggests, is a powerful ninjutsu that can make one's own life enter the reincarnation stage. This technique joins the essence of the immortal reincarnation technique created by Orochimaru, and the power of the wedge that has been gradually perfected by the spell over the years, coupled with the characteristics of sage art inorganic reincarnation, and finally manifests in the form of a spiritual body. It's troublesome to say, but if only the effect is said, it will be a reincarnation ninjutsu that surpasses the power of Otsutsuki's wedges. Its function is very simple to say, that is, in the state of serious injury or dying, based on one's own soul, use the inorganic reincarnation technique to refine various substances and energies in the body and the surrounding environment, thereby giving birth to a new body. The soul then returns to the new body and becomes a whole new individual. This new individual retains the various abilities of the original body and even chakra, which can be called an inheritance relationship or a different kind of rebirth and resurrection. This is the terrible thing about this technique. How many abilities and chakras can be retained depends on the strength of the spirit body, which is the key to this technique, and what Orochimaru is studying now is the strength and weakness of the spirit body in reincarnation. Strictly speaking, in fact, 9/10 of this technique has been completed, because the material retention and transformation of the body has been conquered, and with the power of the wedge, the dying person has been able to complete the normal reincarnation. It's just that this kind of reincarnation will be accompanied by the loss of power. If you want the power of the master before the reincarnation, you need the strength of the wedge in your own training. This is equivalent to reliving one life, and everything needs to start from scratch. Advertisement. Although this is already an extremely terrifying effect, it still fails to meet the requirements of Shi Shangyang and Orochimaru. The result they want is that even if they are seriously injured and dying, they can be revived in a short time. The power of life, to achieve eternal life in the true sense. However, it is difficult to achieve this step, especially the soul aspect, that is, the preservation of the spirit body, is the key to trouble this technique. Fortunately, Orochimaru has unique insights into the spirit body or the soul because of the relationship between immortality and reincarnation. Coupled with the power of the reincarnation of the six paths, the owner of Shi Shangyang, with his help, the secret of the reincarnation of the spirit body has been broken. Now only need the last chance to appear, this technique can be completed. This is the experiment that Shi Shangyang is most looking forward to now. If this experiment is really completed, then Tien Jikyun will truly have the power to compete with the Otsutsuki in the starry sky. Even with the passage of time, they will become more terrifying beings than the Otsutsuki, and only possess the power and confidence to conquer the stars. In addition, on Lin Nohara's side, Shi Shangyang gave her the Rinne Tensai technique, but the condition for launching this technique is to possess Rinnegan. Without the power of Rinnegan, this technique cannot be performed at all. Shi Shangyang is naturally reluctant to see such restrictions, so he hopes that Nohara Lin can crack this technique and make this technique a forbidden technique that a normal ninja can master, which can revive a certain target at a certain cost. The ultimate goal of Shi Shangyang is the life and death of the master. As long as he is an intelligent creature, he hopes to have eternal life. This was not possible in the previous life, but in the ninja world, this is not impossible. As far as he knows, there are several kinds of techniques that can play with life and death, such as impure world reincarnation, reincarnation of oneself, reincarnation of dragon life, etc., not to mention the wide-scale resurrection of ninjutsu such as the outsider Rinne Tensai technique. These are all techniques to play with life and death. Under these ninjutsu, life and death are no longer sacred, but life and death have become a concept. Shi Shangyang naturally doesn't want to die. No intelligent life wants to die. When he has eternal life and can last forever, Shi Shangyang has the possibility to decipher more secrets of the universe. Nothing is more fascinating than the unknown, and he has always been. In his opinion, the whole ninja world, including Otsutsuki in the starry sky, their pursuit of power has always been wrong. Power can be used to fight, but more should be to crack the unknown, and the master is unknown, this is the real thing use. Advertisement. Shi Shangyang hopes to find out why he came to the ninja world, and also wants to crack the secrets of the system. If it is someone else, it is estimated that he will use the system to become the strongest in the ninja world. It would be better if he can gain eternal life, but he has been thinking about how to crack the system, and the master system, and also unlock the transmigration system. The secrets of different worlds, these are the secrets that make him addicted to him. In addition to the most basic part of the various studies of Tien Village, many of them are actually about life and death. In addition to the inorganic reincarnation that Orochimaru is studying, there is also the Rinne Tensai technique that Nohara Lin is deciphering, and there is another research group that is conducting research on the special existence of Wangquan, but it is still in the initial stage for the time being, and nothing useful has been found. Fruit Dragon. There is a saying that the top is good and the bottom is the best. The atmosphere of attaching importance to research has been formed in Tien Village, and the seeds of exploring secrets have already been planted by him. Therefore, after a long time, the ninjas in Tien Village will become talented. A subconscious choice enters the research sequence. Scientific research is the first, production is the second, and the battle sequence is the least important of the three. Those who have no talent in this regard will choose to become a production sequence or a battle sequence. Some have achieved certain results, and some still need some time to deepen.
The first type is scientific research sequence, the second type is production sequence, and the third type is battle sequence.
And the battle sequence is now the kind of person who needs the least talent in Tien Village. Because of the existence of many special ninja tools, even an ordinary person can become a powerful ninja in a short time, so Tien Jikyun is not without force at all. It is precisely because of the large number of talents needed for various researches that Shi Shangyang classified the talents of Tianji Village, which is the three sequences mentioned above. In addition, there are high-end studies such as research on starry sky survival, research on time and space spanning, research on stereotypes in small spaces, and research on the transmission of Flying Thunder God. Chapter 299 Dispatches Jinchuriki, please subscribe. Another unimportant thing is the Chunin exam. Shi Shangyang has made a decision, and the rest only needs to be dealt with by the people below. This is a small matter for Tianji Village, but for other villages in the ninja world, it is heavenly. Event. Tianji Guo is the sixth largest country in the ninja world, not the sixth largest country. If there is a ranking, Tianji Guo is the second, and no one in the ninja world dares to say the first. After so many years of development, many people in the ninja world have doubts about how powerful Tianji Guo is, because no one knows the specific situation, only that Tianji Guo is extremely powerful, and that's all. Therefore, Tianji Guo's every move attracted special attention. When Tianji Guo announced to the public that he wanted to hold a joint Chunin exam, other ninja villages in the ninja world immediately paid attention. Konoha. Compared with a few years ago, Konoha seems to be a little richer now, but there are no obvious changes in many places, but people have forgotten the war a few years ago, with smiles on their faces, obviously to themselves. I am very satisfied with my life now. One thing I have to say is that because of Tianji Guo, the Guo Jiahe forces that have traded with Tianji Guo have grown to some extent. This kind of growth can be political or infrastructure. In a word, in a few years, the entire ninja world has benefited from Tianji Guo. In the world before Shi Shangyang crossed, this can be summed up by some effect. The name Shi Shangyang has been forgotten. Roughly that is, an advanced force or Guo Jia. Its hidden influence will make surrounding forces or Guo Jia. Jia gradually converged with it. Tianji Guo is probably such a role. Compared with other forces in the ninja world, Tianji Guo is extremely advanced in every aspect, with advanced organizational structure, advanced social system, advanced cultural influence, advanced scientific and technological foundation, plus strong economic capabilities. All of this affects the entire ninja world unknowingly. Don't look at the changes in Konoha, but in fact, Konoha has indeed grown a lot over the years, at least it has become richer, which can be seen from the smiles on people's faces. Advertisement. Although the senior officials of Konoha didn't say it, they knew very well in their hearts that if they cut off relations with Tianji Guo at this time, they would not be willing anyway. At this time, in Hokage's office, they were discussing matters related to Tianji Guo, and the content of the discussion was also the joint Chunin exam. For this joint Chunin exam, how many genin will we send in Konoha? The person who spoke was 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato. Compared to a few years ago, Namikaze Minato is now a middle-aged man. He also has a little stubble on his chin. His smile is still warm, but he looks more like a few years ago. Peaceful. He naturally speaks first. This is his habit. He will ask other people's opinions on general things, and it is precisely because of this that Namikaze Minato is now in Konoha, and now has the name of the most gentle Hokage. There were not many people in the conference room. For example, third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, who used to be here often, was not there now, nor was his advisor Udatane Kaharu of the same age. Their generation has taken a back seat. Namikaze Minato is already a qualified Hokage, and there is no need for Sarutobi Hiruzen to escort him. In recent years, the ninja school has expanded a lot. There are several good seedlings in this batch of graduates. If possible, I suggest to send a few more graduation teams. One person. The other person nodded. It's true, our Konoha has developed well in the past few years, and we should take this opportunity to show off Konoha's powerful potential to the outside world. That's right, Tien Nomura has been famous in the ninja world all these years, and now few people mention our Konoha. We must seize this opportunity. In this case, I suggest sending the Jinchuriki squad as well. No, Jinchuriki is about the safety of the village BEDB, and Jinchuriki cannot be allowed to leave the village. And don't forget, there is another Uchiha in the Jinchuriki team. Before he finished speaking, the person who spoke was touched by someone else on the arm, stopping him from speaking. Sure enough, when he saw Namikaze Minato, who had a gentle smile, he frowned. Advertisement. The man was startled, and then he remembered that Jinchuriki was Lord Hokage's son, and that Uchiha also looked like Lord Hokage. It was obviously a bit rude to say this in front of Lord Hokage. Hug, I'm sorry, Lord Hokage, it's me who is right. The man hurriedly said. Namikaze Minato's expression softened slightly, and he waved his hand slightly. It's okay, Jinchuriki is indeed about the safety of the village and needs to be treated with caution. After the painting style changed, he said again, but since this time is the joint Shunin exam proposed by Tien Zemura, then we have to send some potential children from the village to pass, otherwise, it will really hurt our Konoha reputation. This is something to be aware of. Everyone did not speak, but waited for the next sentence, and then listened to Namikaze Minato. You may not know that Sunagakure has prepared to send their Jinchuriki to participate in this Chunin exam. What? Hokage made a decision, and even if some of these people didn't want to, Hokage's decision had to be respected. Someone hurriedly asked, is the information true? Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect Sunagakure to be so bold in this regard, which really surprised them. Someone shook his head slightly. It seems that Sand Shinobi has already begun to weaken, otherwise, he would not have made such a decision. Jinchuriki is related to the safety of a village, so it is so simple to send out. If there is an accident, the consequences will be incredible. Please subscribe. Namikaze Minato was not angry because someone questioned him. His temper has always been so good, and he responded. This is what Feng Ying personally informed me. According to his meaning, it seems that he intends to participate in this joint Shunin exam. Give Sand Shinobi a good finish. You don't have to worry too much, the 5 shadows will also attend this joint Shunin exam. Speaking of this, his smile became more obvious. Obviously, he was very satisfied with the talent and potential of his 2 children. This is the pride of an old father. If Shi Shangyang was here, he would definitely understand. Namikaze Minato smiled and said, the situation in the ninja world is very stable now, there should be no problems, and Tanokura has also promised to protect the safety of every contestant. They are still trustworthy at this point. So, I also have the idea of sending Naruto and Sasuke out. With their talents, they should be able to get better results in this exam. Chapter 300 Arrangements for Xiao's organization. Please subscribe. Tien Zhiguo's current position in the ninja world is the undisputed number 1, and even Wudong Ninja Village recognizes this. No matter how hard it is, Cloud Shinobi has been unconvinced since the last war, but no matter how hard Cloud Shinobi struggles, he can't get rid of the shadow of Tien Village, and as time goes on, the country of Tien has become stronger and stronger. It is deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. No matter how unwilling the Cloud Shinobi village is, it cannot find the possibility of surpassing Tianji village. Except for Mist Shinobi, other ninja villages have more or less a similar mentality. In the past, they were the ninja world Wudong Ninja Village, at the pinnacle of the ninja world. The ninja world has undergone various changes because of their intentions. If they want war, there will be a war that sweeps the entire ninja world. They want peace and forbearance. The world will be at peace. They have been accustomed to such a position for many years and thought it would continue like this forever, but the emergence of Tianji village broke this status quo, pulling them down from the cloud and letting them know that the former Wudaren village the glory has long since left them. It is useless to be unwilling, because this is reality. Therefore, they attach great importance to anything about Tianji-kun, and the same is true for this joint Shunin exam. Just because the news was sent by Tianji-kun, they can't take it seriously. Like Konoha, several other villages are now having headaches for this joint Shunin exam. Wu Daren village has a similar idea. This joint Shunin exam must be taken, not only to take part, but also to achieve good results. Invariably, Wu Daren village took this joint Shunin exam as an opportunity to showcase the village. This kind of opportunity was rare in the past, and they had to seize this opportunity. Tien Zimura has already received the replies from all the small and large ninja villages in the ninja world. According to a little statistics, this joint Chunin exam, as long as the villages that can be named in the ninja world will basically come to participate. In the office of the chief of TNG village, Shi Shangyang looked at the note documents sent by other ninja villages in his hand, and unconsciously put on a smile on his face. Come on. The voice fell, the door of the room was opened, and a person walked in and knelt down in front of him. Go ahead and prepare for the joint Chunin exam from now on, let the people below make plans for it, and I will see the results in 3 days. Yes, Lord Chief. The man responded with a sound, and then disappeared in an instant. Shi Shangyang put his hands behind his head, the smile on his face did not change, and after thinking about it, his figure disappeared from the place in a twist. The country of rain is shrouded in continuous rain all the year round. 70% of the weather here is like this in a day, and sunshine is rarely seen. However, the people who live here are used to this kind of weather. For them, rain is normal, but the good weather makes them a little unaccustomed. Rain Shinobi Village has a lot of fame in the ninja world, because the previous leader Hanzo of the Salamander, known as a demigod, is famous in the ninja world. Even for a period of time, it was really extraordinary to let Cloud Shinobi Village have the ability to compete with the Great Ninja Village. Advertisement. And now, everyone in Rain Shinobi Village knows one thing, that is, more than 10 years ago, the leader of Rain Shinobi Village has been changed and turned into a god. There are many powerful ninjas under the throne of God, but the one who manages Rain Shinobi Village is a woman named Angel. This woman has a high status in Rain Shinobi Village, but no one knows who the god is. Rain Shinobi Village, on the sparsely crowded street, a figure suddenly appeared at the corner, and then Shi Shangyang walked out with an umbrella, scanning the surroundings from time to time, which seemed very limited. This person is none other than Shi Shangyang. He glanced at the sky, then chose a restaurant and walked in. With a flick of the door, a faint stream of light shot out and exploded in midair. No one noticed this streamer, just because this streamer seemed to be invisible, but in the perspective of some people, it really existed. On a high tower in Rain Shinobi Village, a woman wearing a red cloud robe with a black background and purple-blue hair saw this scene in her eyes, and her expression suddenly froze. With a flick of her figure, she disappeared from the spot. In the restaurant, Shi Shangyang took a sip of wine, closed his eyes for a moment, and nodded slightly. Tasty. He ate the food in front of him with a self-satisfied look. After a while, Conan's figure flew in from the window, landed gently, and appeared behind Shi Shangyang. Seeing the person in front of him, Conan's expression changed slightly, his complexion became solemn, and then he knelt down on one knee behind him. Grown-ups. This is what Conan calls Shi Shangyang. Shi Shangyang didn't lift his head, but his voice was a little helpless. For flowers. Even though there is a gate to walk in, how come you still run in through the window? Conan got up and sat down opposite Shi Shangyang, his face has returned to calm. I don't want to be noticed by other people. Advertisement. Shi Shangyang nodded. That's right, now you are in a critical period, you should be careful. My lord hasn't been here for several years, why did he suddenly appear this time? Conan is most concerned about this. In the past, the contact between the two parties was through Uchiha Obito, but recently Obito and Black Zetsu went out, and Rain Shinobi Village did not pass any news to Shi Shangyang. Shi Shangyang smiled and said, it seems that Rain Shinobi Village has developed well in recent years, and it has gradually taken on the appearance of a Genin village. Conan said calmly, thanks to the support of adults, otherwise, Rain Shinobi Village would not have developed to this level. Point 0. Shi Shangyang waved his hand casually, took a bite of the dish and said, you don't need to thank me, you did it with your own efforts. To be honest, you are doing better than I imagined. It seems that you have grown a lot over the years. Ah, 99. Thank you for the compliment. Shi Shangyang said with a smile. Okay, let's not talk about that, I'm here to ask you something in person. Conan took a deep breath and waited. I just heard Shi Shangyang say, how are you preparing for the tail beast capture plan? Conan is a little confused so, are you sure you want to do this? Please subscribe. I'm here mainly to have a look, and I have a message to tell you by the way. Shi Shangyang nodded, he naturally knew this. Shi Shangyang said, Tianji village will hold a joint Chunin examination, which will cover many young ninjas in the village, among which there may be Jinchuriki. You can send people to sabotage this joint Chunin examination. Point 35. Conan nodded. I see, I will tell Yahiko and Nagato the news. 5. Yes, sir, please speak. 55. Conan said with a serious expression. Black Zetsu can't wait. We have deliberately controlled the movements of Akatsuki's organization over the years, and we haven't caused much disturbance in the outside world. Black Zetsu has always been preparing for today, in that guy's opinion. Now the time is ripe. Shi Shangyang nodded. It doesn't matter, let's do it, it's time to let Xiao's organization become famous in the ninja world. Chapter 301 Preparations for TNG Village, subscription required. Sir, are you going to meet Yahiko and Nagato? Conan asked. Shi Shangyang thought for a while, then shook his head and said, I won't go to see them anymore, you guys need to use more snacks recently, and the reputation of the Xiao organization also needs to be built this time. Whether the ninja world can be completely united in the later time, it depends on your next move. When Conan heard the words, his expression immediately became solemn. I understand, my lord. She had always called adults before, but this time it was the leader. Obviously, she was speaking based on her subordinate status. Over the past 10 years, Cloud Shinobi Village has undergone a lot of changes. The dilapidated Rain Shinobi Village in the past is gone, replaced by a rich village with a different architectural style. Although it is not as good as the big ninja villages in the Genin world, among the small ninja villages, Rain Shinobi Village can occupy the first name. 23. To achieve this step, Yahiko, Nagato and Conan's efforts are indispensable, but the most important thing is Shi Shangyang's secret help. For more than 10 years, the majesty of the gods has become more and more popular in Rain Shinobi Village, but everyone does not know that the god of Rain Shinobi Village is planning to conquer all the tailed beasts in the ninja world. This plan was proposed by Black Zetsu, but it was promoted by Shi Shangyang in secret. If all this is exposed, it is estimated that the entire ninja world will have a huge shock. If you still have something to do, just go and do it first. I will go for a walk in the village and then go back. Shi Shangyang said. Yes, my lord. Conan is not a long-winded person either, and after getting the order, she naturally knows what to do next. A pair of paper wings appeared behind him, and they fluttered slightly, and the person had already shot out of the window, and the figure disappeared. Shi Shangyang shook his head slightly, and it was rare to have time today. He was going to take a stroll in Rain Shinobi Village to see how Rain Shinobi Village has developed over the years. Advertisement. As mentioned earlier, Shi Shangyang rarely cares about things now, even if it is Tien Jikun's affairs. There are not many things that need him to deal with, so now he has a lot of free time to do his own things. This is also inevitable. After so many years of hard work, various plans are being carried out in an orderly manner. If he has to do everything himself, then it can only be said that he has failed after all these years. One of the reasons why I came to Rain Shinobi Village was because of some whim. I haven't been here for several years, so it's normal to come and see. Another point is to inform Conan of something. As he said just now, the tail beast capture plan can indeed be carried out, because if this plan is not carried out, Black Zetsu will be suspicious. It is also just right that through this plan, the ninja world can be united a little bit. Well, the feeling of being behind the scenes is getting stronger and stronger. Shi Shangyang thought so, shook his head slightly, and continued the meal in front of him. During this time, the hot spot in the ninja world was occupied by the joint Chunin exam, and many people were discussing this matter. Many people were looking forward to Tien Zimura holding the joint Chunin exam. The village of Tien is very mysterious to ordinary people, and even the country of Tien is very mysterious. In normal times, if you want to enter it, you need various cumbersome procedures, and then there are restrictions on the duration of stay. Even so, the wealth and prosperity of Tien Jiguo and Tien Ji village have always been things that ordinary people in the ninja world are talking about. And because of this joint Chunin exam, Tien Jiguo and Tien Jikun lowered the admission conditions. All of a sudden, people who want to go to Tien Jiguo can be said to be in an endless stream. This is also something that can't be helped. Tien Jiguo has developed to a certain level. From the beginning, Tien Ji village had to secretly recruit people from all over the world, and now it has only taken more than 10 years to restrict the entry of outsiders. But now Tien Jikun really has to make this restriction, otherwise, it will be a threat to the security of Tien Jiguo. No way, Tien Jiguo is too rich and attractive. It is difficult for ordinary people to refuse this kind of attraction. As long as they are normal people in the ninja world, they will think of being able to live in Tien Jiguo, because when they get there, it means absolute security. After so many years, the wealth and power of Tien Jiguo have been deeply rooted in the hearts of the people, and it is natural to say that it is attractive to people. If it weren't for this joint Chunin exam, it would be almost impossible for ordinary people to come and see. Advertisement. Therefore, as time drew near, more and more people poured into Tien Ji village. Most of these people were ordinary people, but it was unknown how many spies there were. On the other hand, the security department of Tianji village was busy during this period of time. Under the order of Shi Shangyang, the entire Tianji village moved. The huge influx of people also brought some pressure to Tianji village. In terms of personnel screening, it is even more troublesome. But this kind of thing, Tien Zimura is also experienced, although busy, but there is nothing wrong. But don't underestimate Tien Jikun's ability in this regard. Tien Jikun has a unique set of methods for personnel screening. Through appearance observation, chakra judgment, and spiritual body perspective methods, it can reach 100%. 99 success rate. Although it seems to have missed 1%, this 1% cannot be turned over in front of the entire Tianji village. So basically, all the spies who came to the country of Tien were marked as soon as possible. These people do not do dangerous things, but if there is any change, then there is no need to say more about the results of waiting for them. For this joint Chunin exam, Shi Shangyang attaches great importance to it, because of his relationship, it has already turned upside down from the original plot. Although the advantage of foresight is still great, it lies in the control of details. Lost the advantage of knowing the original plot. Therefore, Shi Shangyang gave a death order to the villagers who deal with this matter, to ensure the safety of these foreign tourists during the joint Chunin examination. In the ninja world, no one knows the importance of 3.1 publicity better than Shi Shangyang. These tourists who come to Tian village are the best publicity resources in Shi Shangyang's opinion. Other ninja villages thought that they could make a name for themselves or increase their prestige by virtue of this joint examination of Chunin. With the passage of time, more and more people have arrived in the country of Tian. If it was replaced by another ninja village, it is estimated that they would have been paralyzed by so many people, but Tian village has a strong strength in this regard. As long as the number of people does not exceed 3 times the population of Tianji village, these are not problems. And what is the population of Tianji village now? Nearly 1 million giants. The population of the ninja world seems to be large, but the flow of millions of people is difficult to achieve in a short period of time, so it is not too much pressure for Tian village. Chapter 302 The airship greets guests. Please subscribe. Time passed slowly, but there were many unfamiliar faces in Tianji village. To be precise, tens of thousands of outsiders entered the village of Tian, and these people came to join the Chunin exam. For the peaceful ninja world, this kind of event was like a festival. I don't know how many people there were. Looking forward to it, especially the one who held this joint Chunin exam as Tian Zimura, which makes people look forward to it even more. How many of them are spies? Shi Shangyang doesn't really care about that. To be honest, Tian Zimura doesn't really worry about this convenience. Otherwise, Shi Shangyang wouldn't go to Rain Shinobi village to inform Conan and the others. Sabotage during the joint Chunin examinations. Because he has absolute confidence that he can play this scene well without hurting Tian Zimura. Konoha, at the gate, a group of people are standing here. First was 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato, accompanied by his wife Uzumaki Kushina. Behind the two, there were a group of young ninjas and a group of guard ninjas. The young boys and girls are the people that Konoha will send to participate this time. They are outstanding graduates of the 2 worlds of ninja school. At the same time, they have not yet obtained the Chunin qualification. Come in handy. If Shi Shangyang is here, you will find that these people are Konoha 12 Xiaoqiang, and there is almost no change from the original plot. Hey, how long do we have to wait? The one who spoke was a young man with broken yellow hair, with his hands behind his head, his face seemed indifferent. Wait quietly, you idiot. The black-haired boy next to him said. Needless to say, the boy with broken yellow hair is Uzumaki Naruto, and the boy with black hair is Namikaze Sasuke. On the other side of Uzumaki Naruto, there is a girl with long pink hair, who peeks at the two from time to time, and then quickly withdraws his gaze. The girl is Haruno Sakura, their teammate. Advertisement. Behind the 3 of them, stood a man of 26 or 7 years old, with gray-white hair that was scattered and slightly upturned, the forehead protector slanted over his forehead to cover his left eye, wearing a black mask, the whole only the right eye appeared on his face. Needless to say, this person is Hitaki Kakashi, the teacher of the 3. As early as after the last war, Hitaki Kakashi and the 2 teams who went to Tian village to assassinate were released by Shi Shangyang. Shi Shangyang's guess was not wrong, because the different treatment of Hitaki Kakashi in Tian village caused a gap between them after they went back. For a while, the people in the village did have some doubts about him, but this suspicion was forcibly suppressed by Namikaze Minato. In the same way, Hitaki Kakashi didn't tell Konoha that Uchiha Obito and Nohara Rin were still alive for whatever reason, but chose to hide it. Maybe it was what Shi Shangyang and Uchiha Obito said to him that gave him a new understanding of the ninja world, or maybe he really believed what they said and felt that there was indeed a special force in the ninja world. In the end, no information about the two was revealed. Shi Shangyang's plan to separate Hitaki Kakashi and Konoha was not a success, strictly speaking, because his teacher, Namikaze Minato, the 4th Hokage, intervened. In the end, Hitaki Kakashi did not suffer any difficulties, and Namikaze Minato's trust in him was still undiminished. And people with discerning eyes can see that Namikaze Minato intends to train Hitaki Kakashi as the next Hokage, so over the past few years, Hitaki Kakashi's status in Konoha has gradually improved. This can be seen from his becoming a teacher of Jinchuriki and Sasuke. The importance of Jinchuriki is self-evident, and Sasuke is the only Uchiha bloodline in Konoha. Both of them have very special identities. Being able to become the leading teacher of these 2 people shows his current status. The rest of the teenagers were also followed by the leading teachers of their respective teams. In addition, there were 4 elite Jonin teams accompanying them as escorts, which shows how much Konoha attached great importance to this trip. Hearing Shi Shangyang's words, Namikaze Minato smiled and said, "Don't worry, Naruto, the person who picks us up will be here soon." 39. Among the people at the scene, the guards looked vigilant, the teenagers were mostly looking forward to it, and the teachers who led the team showed different expressions. Some were smoking, some were looking at Liu Bei, some were playing handstands with one hand, and some were doing handstands. The one-hand akimbo is responsible for beauty. In short, they are full of personality. Time passed by, and after a while, a boy with white eyes suddenly made a sound. Look over there. Everyone looked for the sound, and they saw a small black spot in the sky in the distance, and then the small black spot became bigger and bigger, until it was more than 100 meters away, and everyone finally saw it clearly. What is Wow, advertisement. That is impossible. There is such a creation in the ninja world. Unbelievable. The teenagers exclaimed for a while, and some even had their eyes lit up. In the sky in the distance, an airship with a length of nearly 100 meters was slowly heading towards this side. The figure in the sky was like a giant whale swimming in the sky. With a shocking beauty, it fills the eyes of everyone. This is a new type of airship developed by Tano Village a year ago. Only 10 of them have been produced. The passenger capacity is huge, and the voyage is extremely long. Today's Tianji village has gradually become modernized. There are cars and railroad trains in the village. If the conditions were not ripe, things like the plane 203 would have been used long ago. Precisely because there are too few airports in the ninja world, the aircraft is not in the production plan, but a flying tool such as an airship is adopted. Seeing this scene, even existences like Namikaze Minato couldn't help but open their eyes slightly, and sighed in their mouths. It's really incredible. I didn't expect that Tien Zimura could create such a huge flying object now. TNG the village is really strong. The more like this, the more pressure he feels as a Hokage. He can clearly see the gap between Konoha and Tien village, and this gap is not something that can be caught up in a short period of time, and may even be forever. Can't catch up. Whenever I think about it, Namikaze Minato feels powerless. He shouldn't feel that way as Hokage, but no way, that's the reality. Uzumaki Kushina is the one with shining eyes. She opened her mouth wide, and can't wait to sit up and take a look. Like her, Uzumaki Naruto, if this guy had Namikaze Sasuke tugging at him, he might have rushed up by now. Soon, the airship was getting closer and closer. When it landed on the wide surface at the entrance of the village, the huge body of nearly 100 meters was completely exposed in front of people, which brought a huge visual impact to everyone. Chapter 303 Konoha Gemini for subscription. After the airship landed, it held firm, and then the hatch opened, the escalator descended, and a few people in Tanemura ninja uniforms walked down and walked towards the Konoha gate. Lord Hokage, and everyone else, if you're ready, please come with us. Namikaze Shuei-en nodded. We are ready here, everyone who is going to your village is here, and I will trouble you next. The other party smiled and said respectfully, You're welcome, Lord Hokage, please come with me. Some of the Xiaoqiangs couldn't wait, and the representative of them was Uzumaki Naruto. He hurried over with his eyes shining brightly. He stood under the airship and looked up. It's incredible, this big guy, Sasuke, come here quickly. Uzumaki Naruto greeted, but Sasuke's expression was calm, but the sight of looking at the airship from time to time revealed his heart. The performance of other Xiaoqiang is similar, this thing is still too novel for these teenagers. The performance of the guards is much stronger, at least they are not as excited as the Xiaoqiangs, but they can't help looking at the airship. Most of them are thinking about the purpose of this thing, and then they are frustrated to find that Konoha can't make it at all. Out this kind of thing. Smiled. Namikaze Minato said, when I saw this thing for the first time, I also had this expression. 35 The receptionist said. The group quickly got on the airship, and only after entering did they find that there was something special in it, just like a hotel, with a hall in the middle and a row of rooms on both sides. Extravagance. Wow, it's a crystal chandelier, the sofa over there is so beautiful, I've long wanted to buy a set of this sofa, but it's too expensive. Uzumaki Kushina was also amazed, looked left and right in the hall, and couldn't put it down. You don't need to look to know that the various furnishings in the hall are high-end goods, otherwise it will not be able to create a magnificent temperament. Advertisement. Namikaze Minato shook his head with a wry smile. He saw more from it. The significance of Tien Zimura's ability to create this kind of airship is self-evident. If this thing is used in war, it is already enough to be able to fly. It's frustrating. While Konoha's people were visiting, the door of a guest room was opened, and then a few people came out. The leader was dressed in a white imperial robe, wearing a blue hat, and there was a wind character on the hat, indicating his identity. Namikaze Minato was a little surprised, but greeted him with a smile. Luasha-kun, I didn't expect to see you here. That group is naturally Sunagaku's Keisuke and the others. Behind him are a group of teenagers. At this time, San Shinobi's guard ninjas came out one after another in other rooms, roughly the same number as Konoha's side. Minato-kun, long time no see. Fungying Luasha greeted him, and it can be seen from the names of the two that the relationship between the two is not bad. This is because Konoha and San Shinobi are allies, plus Namikaze Minato's character, so it's normal to have this kind of behavior when meeting. In addition, the ninja world as a whole is peaceful now, plus the pressure brought by the country of Tien to other ninja villages, the two villages that were allies, naturally became closer in this situation. Why is Luasha-kun here? Didn't Tianji village say that every village would send a special person to receive him? Namikaze Minato asked the doubts in his heart. Luo Sha explained his confusion. San Shinobi is farther away from Tien village, and I thought that it would be better for the two of us to gather together first at this time. Namikaze Minato nodded slightly when he heard the words. Okay, it should be like this, and it can save some time. When the two were talking, the teenagers in the two teams looked at each other. For some reason, Uzumaki Naruto met a brown-red short-haired boy in the opposite team. The boy's expression was indifferent, and his whole body exuded a kind of aura that no one should enter, and there was a red love on his forehead. Words, there are thick dark circles on the eye sockets, giving people a very indifferent atmosphere.
Hey. 35 Uzumaki Naruto touched Sasuke next to him with his elbow, and whispered, "Look at that man, he looks so strange." His voice was very small, but he forgot that the people present were all ninjas, and their hearing was beyond ordinary people, so this kind of whispered talk was naturally heard by others. Advertisement Namikaze Sasuke pouted and frowned slightly. You be asterisk 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 D. Don't be too rude if you are stupid and score the occasion. Uzumaki Naruto was slightly taken aback when he saw everyone looking at him, then he smirked and touched his head. Needless to say, the boy with short brown and red hair was Sand Shinobi's Gaara, and he also cast a glance at Uzumaki Naruto at this time, but his eyes were very cold, as if he was actually looking at a dead person. Noticing his gaze, Crest Sasuke frowned, and his eyes gradually became unkind. He didn't know why, but he was very concerned about the boy's eyes, especially the coldness in the eyes of the other party, which made him feel an inexplicable malice. Uzumaki Naruto didn't feel this, and he raised his hand to say hello directly. Hey, everyone from Sand Shinobi, how are you? 99. This kind of performance immediately attracted the attention of the teenagers of Sand Shinobi. Hey, there are actually two good-looking guys in Konoha's team. A young girl beside Gaara spoke up. She was carrying a huge closed fan, her arms crossed her chest, and her eyes hit Uzumaki Naruto and Namikaze Sasuke with a smile on her face. As for the name of the long good, it can indeed be put on Uzumaki, good, Naruto now. Different from the original plot, Uzumaki Naruto did not look as silly as the original plot because of his parents' survival, but because of his natural personality, he acted a little more innocently. He now has blonde hair similar to Namikaze Minato's, and with the clothes chosen by his mother Uzumaki Kushina, it does look good. To be honest, Uzumaki Naruto is not ugly in the first place, but there is no family in the original plot, and he has no concept of dressing up since he was a child, so he did not show it. Now he and Sasuke, among the many small strong, have a good popularity, one of them is warm and the other is cold, and because of the brothers, they already have the name of Gemini in the new generation of Konoha. From this, it can be seen that the strength shown by the two at this stage can be ranked in the forefront among the small powerhouses. Chapter 304. The Big Fat Sheep of Ninja World, for subscription. Sasuke, another girl praises you for your good looks. Uzumaki Naruto whispered. Shout, childish. Sasuke turned his head arrogantly, ignoring it. Uzumaki Naruto was accustomed to his attitude and didn't care, just watched the brown-red short-haired boy staring at him, tilted his head and said, Hey, why are you staring at me? Gaara frowned slightly, and for some reason, after seeing Sasuke next to the whirlpool Naruto, an uncontrollable killing intent appeared in his heart. Feeling the change in his younger brother's mentality, Temari hurriedly stood in the middle of the two and whispered to Gaara. Be restrained, don't forget what the occasion is. Hearing this, Gaara just glanced at Temari blankly, then turned around and went back to the room. As soon as he left, Kankuro on the other side was relieved and said helplessly, You have also seen that this guy's attitude cannot be changed. Temari gave him a sideways glance and frowned. Don't forget that you are his older brother, such words shouldn't come out of your mouth. Kankuro snorted, anyone who almost killed his brother's brother. Temari glared at 203, then didn't say anything more. She also knew what happened to her younger brother, but as a sister's responsibility, she couldn't ignore it. Uzumaki Naruto was a little puzzled about Gaara's departure. He scratched his head, but he didn't think about it. Seeing that no one from Sand Shinobi cared about his greeting, he pulled Namikaze Sasuke and Haruno Sakura and looked out from the porthole in the hall, up. While everyone was talking, the ground under their feet shook slightly, and then everyone felt their bodies sink slightly. Yeah, it's flying. Uzumaki Naruto was very interested in airships. At this time, he was looking out of the window without blinking, watching the ground rise a little bit, but after a few breaths, the airship was already 20 or 30 meters off the ground. Advertisement, excellent, he said. Although Namikaze Sasuke didn't say it explicitly, it could be seen from his eyes that he was also very concerned about this scene. The performances of the other Shaoqiangs were similar, and they all seemed very novel. The appearance of the airship really opened their eyes. On the other hand, the boys from Sand Shinobi were much calmer. After all, they came from Luffy from Sand Shinobi, BEDB, and they had more experience than the Konoha people who had just boarded the airship. This kind of scene not only happened here, Rock Shinobi, Cloud Shinobi and Mist Shinobi were all about the same time. These three villages also sent airships, and there were teenagers who specially responded to the competition in the shadows of each village. An idea of Shi Shangyang created this grand event in the ninja world, and at the same time attracted the attention of the entire ninja world. Time has passed, and the date of the joint Chunin exam is approaching. TNG village has become lively recently. There are many new faces in the village, and the pedestrians on the street have become denser than before. Most of these outsiders are tourists. Walking on the streets of TNG village, looking at the high-rise buildings around, as well as various buildings lined up in rows, as well as the variety of shops on both sides of the street, really makes people forget to return. There are many well-informed tourists among the tourists, but after they came to TNG village, they were still deeply shocked. Many people could not believe their eyes. After seeing it, it was still amazing. The wealth of TNG village is different from that of any town in the ninja world. Tianwei TNG village is very large and unbelievable. When other towns were still one, Tian village had already begun to divide the area. Any area separated and placed in the ninja world could be regarded as the first big city, let alone Tian village as a whole. That kind of abundance is also unbelievable. It is hard for tourists to believe that in such a huge city, the lights never go out at night, the roads are wide, and there are countless shops. If you want to visit every street and every store, it is estimated that you will not be able to do this in a year. Of course, there are also some people who have been to TNG village before, but the shock felt by these people is no less than that of those who have never been there. The main reason is that TNG village is developing and changing almost all the time. It is possible that after visiting TNG village every few months, you will find that TNG village suddenly has a few more conspicuous buildings, or where a few more buildings have been built. In short, every time I come here, I can see something new, which is in sharp contrast with other cities in the ninja world. Advertisement. The mainstream of the ninja world is villages and towns, and the bigger ones are towns, but no town can compare with TNG-kun. TNG-kun is the only part of the ninja world, which is recognized by the ninja world. Today, Shi Shangyang was suddenly notified by his subordinates that a special tourist had come to the village. When Shi Shangyang got the intelligence information, his expression was somewhat strange. "When did this man come?" he asked. The secret ninja replied, 2 days ago. After coming here, I went straight to the casino in Darong district, and even lived directly in the casino. When the following people investigated, I heard that the other party had lost several times there. A million taels. 5. Shi Shangyang looked at the intelligence documents on the table speechlessly. There was a photo on the document. The photo was of a woman wearing a green jacket and blonde hair with 2 braids. This woman is very beautiful, especially with the charm of a mature woman. She has the charm of killing young and old. There are many casinos in TNG village, but they were specially approved by Shi Shangyang 2 years ago. In the past, casinos were absolutely prohibited in TNG village, but considering the real environment of the ninja world, Shi Shangyang finally allowed the existence of casinos. Shi Shangyang smacked his lips slightly and said to himself, "This guy, has he finally made a bet here?" Although this is nothing to Shi Shangyang, as an intelligence analysis, it is better to figure this out. Shi Shangyang doesn't want any variables in his plan. Please subscribe. No, the super fat sheep famous in the ninja world followed the sound. However, he has many restrictions and rules for casinos, and these rules are strictly observed, and it is precisely because of this that many casinos in TNG village are actually not well known in the ninja world. But in the end, it was the casino in TNG village, backed by the huge demographic dividend of TNG village. Even an unknown casino could eventually attract a lot of people. Forget it, let's meet in person, and take a look at how Tsunade Heim, one of the goddesses of the ninja world, looks like. Needless to say, the big fat sheep of the ninja world is naturally Tsunade Heim, one of Konoha's Sanin. Shi Shangyang doesn't understand, is she just here to play, or to join the Chunin exam? Chapter 305 Bet Against Tsunade, please subscribe. Shi Shangyang was very surprised by the arrival of Tsunade. In recent years, the information of his master can be said to cover the entire ninja world. His master has a complete range of information, large and small, in the ninja world. Or at least know some Tsunade's whereabouts. After all, this woman is full of wandering in the world of ninja, but she has not hidden her traces very much. It's just that every time she goes, there must be a casino, so Shi Shangyang just thinks that she is still looking for places to gamble in the ninja world as in the original plot, and then every time she loses everything. I just didn't expect that the woman Tsunade had come to Tien village at this stage. Isn't she afraid of meeting with Konoha's people? These things couldn't make sense. Shi Shangyang simply didn't think about it, and soon arrived at his destination. This is a luxuriously decorated casino, and it is no exaggeration to describe it as splendid. These businessmen seized the opportunity and knew the status of TNG village in the ninja world, as well as TNG village's powerful and terrifying business capabilities. Casinos are very luxuriously decorated. In this regard, Shi Shangyang neither encourages nor refuses, but at the same time, he also imposes strict restrictions on these casinos. First of all, on the number of casinos. Only a few large businesses have obtained franchise licenses, and the number of casinos in the future will also be limited. It will not increase. In short, he will not let this business model become popular. It can exist, but it cannot become mainstream. Entering it, Shi Shangyang glanced around in the hall. A large table was placed in the hall, surrounded by people. Shi Shangyang quickly found a target. The other party was on a game console at this time. Before playing, there was a young woman in a black kimono standing beside her, and the woman was holding a pig in her arms. Shi Shangyang came alone, sat down in front of the game machine next to the other party, then put a coin into the machine, and said to himself, "Your Excellency Tsunade-ji, the famous Princess Konoha, why did you think of coming here?" "What?" Tsunade seemed to have noticed the person coming. Without any accident, without even raising his head, he calmly said, "Where am I going? Do I still need to report to you, this brat?" It's not wrong to say that Shi Shangyang is a kid. After all, considering Tsunade's age, being Shi Shangyang's grandma is enough. Shi Shangyang just smiled slightly. "That's true, then, Your Excellency Tsunade. How is your luck today? I have heard of your nickname of the big fat sheep in the ninja world. It seems that it is easy to make money from you. It is almost recognized in the ninja world." Tsunade's forehead showed a blue vein. There is no doubt that Shi Shangyang's words directly hit her pain point. Hateful. Tsunade beat the machine around, and none of the 3 patterns on it had prizes. Apparently, she lost another round just now. She lost this round in front of Shi Shangyang, which made her even more unhappy. Shizune beside her had already recognized Shi Shangyang at this time. Her face changed involuntarily, and cold sweat gradually oozes out of her forehead. She had heard of Shi Shangyang's fierce name, and knew what Shi Shangyang had done to Konoha, as well as the original war. Advertisement such an existence appeared in front of her. No matter how you looked at it, it didn't seem like a good thing. The little pig in her arms was trembling even more at this time. Her head shrunk into Shizune's arms, and the whole pig was in bad shape. Shi Shangyang raised his head with a smile and asked Shizune, "How much has Lord Tsunade lost?" Shizune's body trembled and subconsciously said, 400,000 taels, 99. It was not until he finished speaking that he realized that it was wrong, but it was too late to shut up. "Shizune, you're cuter when you're not talking," Tsunade snorted coldly. Shi Shangyang laughed dumbly. "Only the wrong name, not the wrong nickname, that's true. The luck of Lord Tsunade is really rare in the ninja world. If I were those businessmen, I would definitely spare no effort to curry favor with you, at least doing business with you. There is no possibility of losing money. 99. Tsunade gritted his teeth and turned his head with a gloomy face. He stared at Shi Shangyang and said, "Little devil, are you here to laugh at me on purpose?" "Aha, how do you say this, Master Tsunade? You misunderstood me." Shi Shangyang smiled and shook his head, then continued, "I'm here because I just want to meet Tsunade-ji, who is famous in the ninja world." "Humph." Tsunade snorted coldly, without giving Shi Shangyang any face, and said, "Then you've seen it now. If you have nothing to do, just leave, don't disturb my good mood." If you're still in a good mood after losing money, the character of Lord Tsunade is really surprising." Shi Shangyang laughed. This sounded fine at first, but when Tsunade heard it, it sounded like a bit of irony. "Little devil, you really did it on purpose, right?" Tsunade gritted his teeth slightly. "For flowers." Advertisement. Shi Shangyang waved his hand and said, "Don't get me wrong, I just want to ask, is Your Excellency Tsunade interested in betting with me?" Tsunade narrowed his eyes slightly, looked at Shi Shangyang carefully, and then said, "What do you want to block me?" When it comes to gambling, it's like an eye-addicted person who sees Wazi and immediately becomes interested. The most important thing is that gamblers have a kind of honeyed self-confidence and feel that they will definitely win the next game. Tsunade's mentality is not surprising at all. Even her mentality is more serious than that of normal gamblers. He is obviously a big grievance in the gambling world, but he has always felt that he is just unlucky and there is no one to speak of. Shi Shangyang smiled and said, "If Your Excellency Tsunade wins, all the gambling debts you owe will be repaid by me, and I will give you at least 3 million in gambling funds. How about that?" 0. Tsunade's eyes lit up, and he looked at Shi Shangyang with a quirky look. It felt like a hungry person saw delicious food. What kind of good person is he to exchange gambling debts for himself? Tsunade still doesn't know how much gambling debts she owes outside. The so-called, "don't worry about more debts," is generally her mentality. The most important thing is her identity. Others are willing to lend her money, or else impossible to walk all the way blocked all the way. "Come on. I bet with you," Tsunade said. "Master Tsunade, 35. Shizune persuaded. "You haven't asked what will happen if you lose." Traveling through the ninja world with elders like Tsunade, Shizune is truly a big grievance. Not only do I have to serve Tsunade's food and drink every day, but I also have to find a way to pay off my gambling debts. Sometimes I even have to run away with a drunk Tsunade. It's just bitter tears. Tsunade snorted coldly. "Losing? I can't possibly lose. With my gambling skills, how could I possibly lose?" Shizune opened her mouth and wanted to say, "Tsunade-sama, where did you get your confidence?" But she was afraid that she would be beaten for saying this. She shuddered when she thought of Tsunade's fists that could crack mountains and rocks. Suffer less. Shi Shangyang smiled slightly. "Since it's a gamble, then of course you have to agree first. If you lose, Lord Tsunade, then how about losing a tube of blood to me?" Chapter 306. It's just wood style. I have it too, please subscribe. Hearing this, Tsunade's face darkened immediately. As a medical ninja, she naturally knew what her blood represented. It belongs to the bloodline of the Senju family. She knows better than anyone what kind of power is hidden in this bloodline. Even if she has not awakened her grandfather's wood style, she also knows that since it is a blood descendant, then this kind of power is also it must be hidden in the bloodline. And now hearing that Shi Shangyang wants her blood, Tsunade's first thought is that Shi Shangyang wants to use her blood to carry out research on wood style, which she absolutely cannot tolerate. Seeing Tsunade's gloomy face, Shi Shangyang smiled. "Don't get me wrong, I didn't want to use your blood to study wood style, that thing is nothing to me." Tsunade had a gloomy face and said solemnly, "Little devil, do you know what you are talking about? No matter what your plan is, I will advise you to give up. In the ninja world, my grandfather Senju Hashirama came out. There may be someone who can master wood style, not even my bloodline. If it were someone else, Tsunade would have done it without hesitation and sent him to Wangshan with a punch, but in front of her was Shi Shangyang, the leader of TNG village, the leader of the most powerful ninja village in the ninja world. This alone made her able to hold back her anger. Shi Shangyang didn't seem to hear Tsunade's warning, he just said with a smile. It seems that you don't believe it, it is indeed as you said. Although wood style is a blood-based limit, it is actually only first Hokage Senju Hashirama the unique blood descendant, even through the bloodline. Its descendants will not be able to awaken the wood style. I am very clear about this, but... Speaking of this, he paused, then stretched out his hand with a half-smile and said, I said just now, wood style is nothing to me, just like this. As he spoke, a twig grew out of his palm. The twig grew rapidly, reaching a height of 20 or 30 centimeters in the blink of an eye. The trembling god spread out several branches, with emerald green hanging on them. The leaves look vibrant. This scene is ordinary for Shi Shangyang, but for Tsunade, it is a subversive shock. She stood up abruptly, her eyes fixed on the twig in Shi Shangyang's palm. Her eyes seemed to penetrate Shi Shangyang. Shizune next to him widened his eyes and covered his mouth subconsciously, so he didn't let himself exclaim. The corners of Shi Shangyang's mouth were raised, and he tore off the twig in the palm of his hand. He saw that this thing actually had a complete root system, as if it was pulled out of the soil. He handed it to Tsunade, and then said, this way you should be able to believe what I said. Wood style was indeed a blood successor ability that belonged to first Hokage Senju Hashirama in the past, but I have mastered this ability too, so I really don't want to use your blood to study wood style. Tsunade took it subconsciously and noticed the rich chakra on the twig, and immediately knew that it was indeed a creation of chakra, not an ordinary sapling. How did you master have wood style? When Tsunade said this, he was still staring at Shi Shangyang, trying to see clues on Shi Shangyang's face. Shi Shangyang shrugged. Well, it's naturally a secret, how about it, if you want to block it, I can replace it with a wood style blood follower. If you win, I'll help you awaken wood style? Tsunade heard the words, his face changed suddenly, and he subconsciously said, does your master have the technology to obtain wood style? Shi Shangyang smiled and nodded. That's right, wood style is not exclusive to you Konoha. Senju Hashirama can be a master, why can't I be a master? Advertisement Tsunade took a deep breath, and then sat down again, but his appearance was always on Shi Shangyang, and then he said, I bet you. If the bet just now was gambling debt, Tsunade subconsciously felt that it was a big deal, and naturally he didn't want to miss it, but now that the bet is wood style, Tsunade will not give up no matter what. Are you sure? Shi Shangyang asked with a smile. Tsunade nodded solemnly. Well, what to play? 35. Poker is big and small, best of 3 games, 35. Shi Shangyang was surprised and asked, are you sure you want this? Tsunade nodded. She is a gambler, and she has blind confidence in her luck, but she also knows that her luck is not good when she is average. But in this case, she didn't want to play those complicated games, so she decided to take the simplest and most direct way to bet. Seeing this, Shi Shangyang smiled and nodded. Okay, wait a moment. Shi Shangyang said and snapped his fingers. Saw. A figure appeared beside Shi Shangyang, kneeling on one knee. Go and prepare a room. 5. Yes, Lord Chief. When the words fell, the man disappeared. Tsunade frowned slightly, but his heart skipped a beat. She just didn't notice that a ninja was approaching, and this ability to hide her body and aura was definitely not something ordinary ninjas could do. Advertisement Tsunade didn't know who the ninja who just appeared, but as the person who gave orders to Shi Shangyang, he obviously wouldn't be the top of Tien Village, but he was definitely an elite, which immediately put a kind of pressure on Tsunade's heart. Could it be that the elite ninjas in Tien Village are all that level? No wonder she would guess so. With her ability, very few people can get close to her without being discovered at the first time, but the ninja who just appeared gave her this feeling. Looking at Shi Shangyang's calm appearance, he can also guess the status of the ninja from the side, and the conclusion drawn from this is not low. If Shi Shangyang could read minds, he would immediately applaud, because Tsunade guessed right. The ninja just now is not a high-level Konoha, but he is indeed an elite, mainly responsible for passing news and protecting Shi Shangyang's security. Although Shi Shangyang doesn't need someone to protect him. Please. Shi Shangyang said and stood up, and soon a waiter came up and respectfully invited Shi Shangyang to the private room. Tsunade took a deep breath and followed without any hesitation, but for some reason, a sudden pressure surged in his heart. 3 people and 1 pig came to the room. The table in the middle happened to be a pair of poker, and there was a dealer who dealt the cards. The two stood facing each other. Shi Shangyang nodded to the dealer. Let's start, 99. Yes. The dealer shuffles the cards, wipes his hands on the table, and the poker is unfolded. Ladies first, Your Excellency Tsunade please. Tsunade didn't hesitate, and directly drew one from it. Seeing this, Shi Shangyang also randomly selected one. The two opened the poker at the same time. Shi Shangyang showed a smile and said, I am 8 and you 6, I won the first game. Tsunade's heart sank slightly, and his face was not very good. Chapter 307 The Blood is in Hand, please subscribe. Shi Shangyang looked at Tsunade with a half-smile. He didn't use any means. In fact, he didn't need to use any means to bet against Tsunade. It was a sure win. This is also thanks to Tsunade's own self-confidence. If the other party has a clear understanding of his own luck, I am afraid that this game will not be possible at all. Of course, another point is that the gambling money given by Shi Shangyang is too precious. No matter who, when an opportunity with wood style is presented to him, he will not miss it, not to mention Tsunade who has Senju blood. Wood style has almost become the obsession of the Senju people, and she is no exception. Licensing. Tsunade ordered with a sullen face, his eyes fixed on Shi Shangyang. Shi Shangyang just smiled and shrugged and did nothing else. The dealer destroyed the cards he used just now, took out a new set of cards, and shuffled the cards in front of the two of them. His movements were slow, and each step could be clearly seen by the two of them. In fact, at the level of Shi Shangyang and Tsunade, under the eyes of the two, it is difficult to cheat by means of tricks, and the dealer knows the identity of Shi Shangyang, and it is even more impossible to do any extra actions, so the two it is clear that this time the game is 14 clean. Soon, the dealer opened the card shop again, and took a step back, waiting for the two to choose. Shi Shangyang made a gesture of please, meaning ladies first. Tsunade said with a sullen face, you go first, all right. Shi Shangyang just smiled slightly, and took out one of the cards and placed it in front of him. Seeing this, Tsunade took a deep breath, glanced at the unfolded poker, and then slowly drew one from it and placed it in front of him as well. The two looked at each other, the atmosphere dignified. Let's go together, Shi Shangyang asked. Tsunade nodded. Well, 3, 2, 1. When the words fell, the two turned over their cards at the same time. 6 and 3. Boom, Tsunade slapped the table and laughed. How about it, kid, I won this game, Tsunade said. Advertisement. Shi Shangyang raised his brows and looked at the cards in his hand in amazement. He never thought that he actually lost a game. Could it be that the opponent's luck has increased? Oops. If Tsunade gets lucky, doesn't that mean something bad is going to happen? Thinking of this, Shi Shangyang's expression became somewhat strange. Little devil, what's your expression? Tsunade asked unhappily. Shi Shangyang coughed twice, waved his hand and said, it's nothing, congratulations, but now it's just a tie, and there's still another round. Saying that, he looked up at the dealer. The dealer nodded respectfully and looked at Tsunade, waiting for his confirmation. Tsunade snorted, go on. 35. The croupier destroys the used cards, replaces them with a new deck, shuffles the cards, and spreads them out. You go first, Tsunade said. The gamblers are somewhat superstitious about their luck. In the last round, Shi Shangyang took the cards first and then lost. Tsunade felt that, based on this situation, she would probably win the third round. Shi Shangyang didn't say anything, and took a card at random. Tsunade was a little tangled this time. After the third game, the pressure in her heart suddenly increased. If it was an ordinary game, she wouldn't care about it at all, it was just for fun. But the stake in this bet is wood style, which is too important to her. She absolutely cannot allow herself to lose the game, so it is only natural that the pressure will increase in this final game. Shi Shangyang did not urge, but waited quietly with a smile on his face. Time passed slowly. Tsunade glanced at the unfolded poker cards on the table, biting his nails and analyzing it quietly. Although Shi Shangyang didn't know what she could analyze from it, Tsunade still seemed very serious. Time passed by. Shizune behind Tsunade was already sweating, but he held his breath and did not dare to disturb Tsunade, who was making a choice. I don't know what's going on. Shi Shangyang's expression is very strange. Does he think this woman is putting too much pressure on him? Otherwise, how could it be like this? Boom. Finally, Tsunade slapped the poker, drew one of the cards, and stared at Shi Shangyang. Shi Shangyang smiled slightly and turned over the cards in front of him silently. Well, mine is 4. His expression was calm, and he didn't show any unwillingness because he got a small card, but waited quietly. Advertisement. Seeing this, Tsunade's face immediately showed joy. In this gamble about wood style, she was under a lot of pressure. At this time, seeing Shi Shangyang's cards were so small, she was instantly overjoyed. Taking a deep breath, Tsunade turned over his cards. Huh. After seeing the size of the cards, Tsunade's heart sank, and his face was filled with disbelief. Is that a lie? Shizune covered his eyes, also in disbelief. It looks like I won. Shi Shangyang smiled, looking at the 3 in front of Tsunade, showing a smile. How is that possible? Why'd I lose? Obviously your card is only a 4, why can't I beat you? Tsunade stared at the 2 cards on the table in front of him. His energy seemed to be pulled away at this moment, and he couldn't return to his senses for a while. Shi Shangyang's smile didn't change, and he said lightly, maybe Tsunade, your excellency doesn't know it yet, your luck is really not good, or you wouldn't get the nickname of the big fat sheep in the ninja world in 203. So as a junior, I still advise in a word, your excellency Tsunade, don't touch this thing again, it won't do you any good. Hateful. Tsunade clenched her fists tightly, looking extremely unwilling. If it was someone else in front of her, she might have slammed it right at this moment. Shi Shangyang didn't talk nonsense. He put his hand to the air next to him, and the air there was distorted immediately. When he retracted his hand, there was an extra needle in his hand. Putting it lightly on the table in front of him, and pushing it forward, Shi Shangyang said, Your Excellency Tsunade, accept the bet and admit defeat. Did you do it, or I? 35. After doing all this, Shi Shangyang didn't rush, just waited quietly with a smile on his face. Master Tsunade, you can't. Shizune subconsciously stopped him. Humph. 35. Tsunade looked unhappy, his silver teeth clenched tightly, and he snorted coldly, without any nonsense. He directly pulled off his sleeve to expose his arm, picked up the syringe, and stuck it on the blood vessel. She is a medical ninja, and this method of blindly tying blood vessels is naturally very skilled, but when she was doing this, she turned her face to the side and looked at the corners of her slightly trembling mouth. It didn't get better. Master Tsunade. Shizune wanted to say something, but was interrupted by Tsunade's voice. Shut up, don't speak well. Chapter 308 cracks the secret of Shueiji, subscribe. Soon, a tube of blood was drawn. Tsunade threw the needle tube to Shi Shangyang, and it was the end of the needle hole, and flew straight towards Shi Shangyang's neck, very fast. Shi Shangyang's face didn't change, he just stretched out his hand and firmly clamped the needle tube with his 2 fingers. Looking at the blood in the needle, the smile on Shi Shangyang's face became even brighter, and he didn't mean to restrain himself at all. Tsunade's face was gloomy, and it was not her intention to give blood. Even if she lost, she was still a little unwilling at this time, so she asked in a deep voice, "Little devil, what do you want to do with my blood?" She is naturally very concerned about this aspect, and at the same time she is worried that Shi Shangyang will use her blood to do some weird or terrifying experiments. After all, she is Senju's bloodline, and there are certain secrets in her blood. As soon as Shi Shangyang waved his hand, the dealer hurriedly bowed and left quickly. In a blink of an eye, there were only 3 people and 1 pig left in the room. He thought for a while, and then said, "My side has already mastered the technology of cultivating reproductive cells with blood, so I am thinking, what kind of gene will be created by combining the excellent genes of your Excellency Tsunade with the excellent genes of the other party? Descendants?" Boom. Tsunade smashed the table in front of him with 1 punch, stood up suddenly, a murderous intent filled his whole body, and stared at Shi Shangyang. This kind of thought has touched her bottom line. The next moment, she reached out and grabbed the needle in Shi Shangyang's hand. It is one thing to be willing to admit defeat, but it is another thing to accept Shi Shangyang's bloodshed to her. She did not agree with everything, and she only agreed to gamble before, and did not say that she agreed to Shi Shangyang's use of blood. Her blood to do anything. Seeing this, Shi Shangyang's expression didn't change, he just sat quietly on the spot, as if everything in front of him had nothing to do with him, and let Tsunade's hand grab him. Immediately, Tsunade's expression changed, because her hand actually passed directly through Shi Shangyang's hand in his body, and even because of the forward momentum, her whole body passed through Shi Shangyang's body. Tsunade turned around suddenly, a look of surprise on his face. Shizune had put the pig aside, and his hands began to seal. Advertisement, but the next moment, her movements stopped, and there was a hint of horror on her face. I saw under her feet, the shadows of the 2 were connected together, and her movements were controlled by the shadows. Shi Shangyang stood up, turned around and drove Tsunade, with the same smile. "Don't be so excited, I'm just making a joke to cheer up the atmosphere." Tsunade was not controlled by the shadow imitation technique. She gritted her teeth slightly at this time. She had already seen that Shizune was being controlled, and at this time it was a bit tricky, and at the same time, she was a bit of a rat. "Give me my blood back," she said. Shi Shangyang shook his head. "No, this is a chip that I won. I am willing to admit defeat. If you regret it, there is nothing you can do. You should be able to understand if you were a good gambler." "I never said that I agreed to let you use your blood to do such a thing," Tsunade said solemnly. "Ha ha." Shi Shangyang shrugged and waved his hands. "It's all a joke. I do master cloning and biological breeding technology, and it's very mature, but I won't use your blood to do anything strange. Strange thing, don't worry." 5. Even when he said that, Tsunade didn't let his guard down. Seeing this, Shi Shangyang shook his head helplessly, and it seemed that his joke still had the opposite effect. He said, "Okay, no kidding, I just want to use your blood to study the power of Shueiji." "Is it still wood style? Don't you already have wood style?" Tsunade asked. Shi Shangyang said, "To be honest, I have a lot of experimental subjects here, one of which is to decipher the secrets of Shueiji. I have collected the blood of a lot of Shueiji limit owners in the ninja world. But because Senju the decline of the clan, the blood of the Senju clan has not yet been obtained, so I will ask you for a tube of fresh blood. 35. Tsunade frowned at such an explanation, apparently not completely convinced. Shi Shangyang went on to say, "Shueiji is a very interesting power. It inherits some special power through blood. It is obvious that ninjutsu is activated by chakra. It is only a combination of attributes chakra, but it can become a unique bloodline power. This alone is already worth studying." Advertisement. Tsunade pursed his lips, but did not speak. Shi Shangyang added, "Then, it is very important to find out how Shueiji is expressed in genes. As long as this secret is solved, then Shueiji will no longer be mysterious in my eyes. If so, is Tsunade still satisfied?" 5. Tsunade frowned. She had already believed 7 points, but she was still vigilant. However, Shi Shangyang laughed and said, "As the most powerful medical ninja in the ninja world, Your Excellency Tsunade should also have cracked the secret of blood. What does it mean to the ninja world? So, are you interested in participating in this research? Forgot to mention, Orochimaru is in charge of this research." 99. Not to mention, Tsunade's brows furrowed even tighter when he said this. "That guy, are you really preparing some kind of conspiracy?" Tsunade said solemnly. Shi Shangyang shrugged, loosened his grip on Shizune with a thought, and then retracted the needle into the Kamui space, then continued. "There is no conspiracy, in my opinion. Orochimaru is a very pure person. he is passionate about for all kinds of research. I want to master the truth, that's all. He sat down again, laughed, and then said, isn't Shuiji a kind of truth? When the secret of Shuiji is cracked, the cognition of chakra in the ninja world will be raised to a new level. It's a good thing for ordinary, good, people. So Tsunade Lord, do you really not intend to participate in it? Is that so? It's a pity. I was thinking that after cracking the secret of Shuiji, you will be able to awaken wood style, Lord Tsunade, and now it seems that I will be self-indulgent. HMPH, I won't participate, Tsunade said. What did you say? Tsunade pondered for a while, then shook his head. I won't help you, don't forget, I'm from Konoha, and you are Konoha's enemies. Please subscribe. Dragon. Shi Shangyang said this and shook his head slightly, looking unwilling. Shi Shangyang nodded. Of course it's true. Shi Shangyang pouted. It's really a die-hard idea. Obviously this is a technique that can make the ninja world progress. Why can't you give up your prejudice? Tsunade surprised. What you said is true. Chapter 309 The Arrival of Hokage and the Wind Shadow. Please subscribe. Tsunade just stared at Shi Shangyang silently and didn't answer Shi Shangyang's question. There seems to be an irreconcilable contradiction between the two sides. From the moment when Tien Jimura took the initiative to provoke a war last time, the relationship between Tien Jimura and Konoha has been an enemy, even though the relationship between the two sides has eased in recent years, but also impossible to become how intimate. Besides, no matter how close the relationship between the two sides is, Tsunade would naturally not agree to Shi Shangyang for something that concerns the overall interests of a village, because if he did, it would undoubtedly be a betrayal of Konoha. Shi Shangyang also knew that this would be the result, so what he said just now was just trying to talk. He didn't expect Tsunade to agree to his proposal at all, it was too unrealistic. That's it, that's really a pity. The transformation of the ninja world has already begun, but now it seems that Konoha will not seize this opportunity, so I can only inform you regretfully that Konoha has already there is no future left. Shi Shangyang said. His body began to twist, his smile did not change, but calmly said, thank you very much for the blood provided by your excellency Tsunade. I will try my best to crack the secret of the blood, and then I will inform you in advance. Please rest assured, I will not use your blood against you Konoha, I can still guarantee this. When the words fall, his figure will disappear, and many more. Tsunade suddenly made a sound, and at the same time stepped forward to stop Shi Shangyang from leaving, but Shi Shangyang did not give her this chance, and the figure had disappeared in the twisted air. Damn. 35 Seeing this, Tsunade clenched his fists and gritted his teeth secretly. Shizune, who was on the side, was relieved after seeing Shi Shangyang leave. At this time, her forehead was sweating and her body was weak. She was very worried that the two of them would really fight. In that case, they would be in danger. Master Tsunade, you shouldn't give your blood to that guy, he is too dangerous, Shizune said. Tsunade gritted his teeth slightly, and said solemnly, even if I don't give him the blood here, that guy will try to get the blood of the Senju clan. Don't forget, the Senju clan is only in decline, not extinction. Shizune was shocked and reacted at this time. Advertisement. But what does he want to do with the blood? Is it really just cracking the blood? Shizune said. Tsunade thought for a moment, then shook his head. I can't see through him. 35. This is her true feeling. With her ability, even if she looks at the entire ninja world, she is an absolute powerhouse. This is why she has been able to travel the ninja world all these years. But facing Shi Shangyang, she has no confidence. If it wasn't for wood style as a bet, she would not have agreed to Shi Shangyang's bet, because in her opinion, nothing is more important than awakening wood style. It's a pity that she lost the bet and at the same time lost her own blood. As a medical ninja, Tsunade is very aware of what is in her blood, and the blood of the Senju clan is likely to be spread out in her hands. After she calmed down at this time, she also began to regret it. It's a pity that things have come to this point, even if she regrets it, it won't help. Master Tsunade, what's next? Shizune asked. Tsunade thought for a while, and then said, when the Konoha people come over, I will use official channels to find out what the guy wants to do with my blood. Yes, I will keep an eye out for people from the village entering TNG village recently. The two were worried, but Shi Shangyang had already handed the blood to Orochimaru, who had an odd expression when he learned that it was Tsunade's blood. There should be no special power in her blood. From our research on wood style, we know that wood style is mainly derived from the sacred tree, and there is also Senju Hashirama's own special chakra, which is only awakened after the combination of the two. With wood style, it is impossible for this kind of blood to continue through the blood, and you should know this. 35. Shi Shangyang nodded. This is a fact. When Orochimaru was in Konoha, he had already studied the blood of the Senju BEDB clan, and the decline of the Senju clan was also because there was a period when the official Konoha level wanted to study wood style's blood. As a result, during that time, many Senju people died. These are considered Konoha's secrets, but for those in the know, this is almost an open thing. Shi Shangyang said, I know that Senju Hashirama's wood-style bloodline will not continue in blood, but the Senju family's bloodline must hide Senju Hashirama's wood-style password. His wood style is essentially the same as that of our master. Wood style is no different, but his wood style is the key for us to unlock the secret of blood following. Advertisement. Over the years, Tian Jikun's research on Shuiji has been more in-depth, and many conclusions have been drawn, but in the end, it is all about bloodline transplantation. Unravel the secrets of Shuiji. It is only because of the blood that exists in the ninja world now. Most of them are a ninja who combines two types of chakra nature transformation, which triggers the mutation of chakra, and then merges with its own blood, thus forming a continuous blood. But this kind of blood succession is artificially developed and belongs to the application of the rules, not the rules themselves. And Senju Hashirama's wood style is the rule itself, because this kind of blood is derived from the Tree of Gods, and unlocking this wood style is a secret, even if the code of the blood is unlocked. At that time, Tien Nomura will completely master all the rules that follow the appearance of blood. Even Shi Shangyang felt that with Senju's blood, Hyuga, Vortex, Uchiha and even the Wei Yoruichi blood, it might be possible to decipher the characteristics of Otsutsuki's blood, so as to study the power component of Otsutsuki. This is a bit far, but Shi Shangyang thinks it is not impossible. Hearing this, Orochimaru nodded slightly and said, "In this case, I understand what to do. I will arrange the experiment, but you may need your help at that time." Shi Shangyang nodded, not rejecting Orochimaru's request. In fact, he also likes to do experiments. The sense of accomplishment brought by exploring unknown secrets is sometimes really fascinating. After the two met, things were decided like this. Even though Tsunade only gave one tube of blood, Orochimaru's blood could be cultivated into more, so it was no problem to use it for cracking experiments. As time passed, other officials from Shinobi Village soon arrived in Konoha. And Shi Shangyang, the leader of Tien Village, naturally came out to greet him at this time. This is also impossible, at least on the surface he still has to do enough. Today was the day when Konoha and San Shinobi arrived at Tien Village. Shi Shangyang waited in advance at the airship landing site. Chapter 310 Tsunade's Thoughts, please subscribe. Because of the difference in distance, the arrival time of the shadows of Wudanin Village is also different. The first ones to arrive are not Cloud Shinobi and Rock Shinobi, which are closest to the land, but Mist Shinobi, which is the farthest away. In fact, not long after Shi Shangyang issued the invitation, Yuju Yagura and his party came to Tien Village. With the close ally relationship between the two sides, it is normal for Yuju Yagura and the others to arrive so early. In the past few years, the relationship between the two parties can no longer be described as intimate, and it is already the kind that can wear a pair of pants. For the planning of the Land of Water, in fact, in the past few years, most of them have been completed. The name of the Land of Water has been spoofed, and now it has become a mascot. It is estimated that in a few years, the name of the name can be removed directly. In addition, regarding the renovation of Mist Shinobi is now full of goodwill towards Tien Village. In fact, it has been backed by Tien Village in recent years, and Mist Shinobi has developed quite a bit. They imitated Tien Jikun and carried out low-intensity innovations. Although they could not be exactly the same as Tien Jikun, they were still very effective. Over the years, both the number of ninjas and the cultivation of talents have increased several times. And this is not the most important, the real change comes from the change at the social level. The changes in all aspects make Mist Shinobi full of upward vitality from top to bottom. Even if this kind of vitality is still inferior to Tien Jikun, it is already second to none in Wu Daren Village. In Shi Shangyang's view, Mist Shinobi has gradually walked on the road of enlightenment. As long as it continues like this, over time, Mist Shinobi will be able to reach the point that Shi Shangyang finally promised. At the same time, the favorability of the Land of Water and Mist Shinobi towards the Kingdom of Field has now reached a peak. This favorability is from top to bottom, whether it is the high level among Mist Shinobi or ordinary civilians, more than 90% the people of Tien Jiguo are full of favorable impressions. Although at this level, there is no way to directly start the integration plan of the Land and the Land of Water, but Shi Shangyang believes that it may take a few years to start trying this. With Mizukage, Yagura, as an internal response, in fact, this plan has been half successful, and with the support of Mist Shinobi from Tien Nomura over the years, the result is already doomed. At this point, Shi Shangyang is no longer worried about what will happen in the Land of Water, because the foundation has been built very firmly, and it is only necessary to wait for the day when the plan is formed. And this time to welcome the arrival of Hokage and Fengying, in addition to Shi Shangyang, Yagura, the citrus orange of Mizukage, also came together and received Shi Shangyang together, showing the hardcore relationship between the two villages. The ninja world's friendly impression of the two villages paved the way for the future fusion of the Land of Water and the Land of Land. Soon, the huge airship appeared on the horizon, heading towards the landing site little by little. The people of TNG Village are no longer surprised by such a huge airship, just because they have seen it too many times, there is no strange feeling. Advertisement on the contrary, those tourists who came from afar, after seeing this scene, they all grew their mouths and looked shocked. As time passed, the airship slowly descended, the hatch opened, and the team of Konoha and San Shinobi filed out. Many people in the two teams were shocked by the sight of TNG Village from the sky just now. They had never seen such a large village before. The appearance of not seeing the end simply subverted their understanding of the town. How big is Tien Village? This question has been lingering in everyone's mind. Shi Shangyang and Goji Yagura greeted the guests with a smile. Welcome, Your Excellency Hokage, and Your Excellency Kazekage. The accommodation has been prepared for everyone. Next, you can rest for 2 days and visit Tien Village. I hope you like it here. Namikaze Minato smiled warmly upon hearing this, as did Keisuke Luosha. When facing Shi Shangyang, both of them were under pressure, and it was hard for them to say where the pressure came from, but they should be vigilant at all. A few people greeted each other. Konoha and Sand Shinobi's people were received by a special person from Tien Village, and Shi Shangyang didn't need to worry about it, he just greeted the guests from afar as the leader. This kind of greeting is also superficial, and it is estimated that only they themselves know what they really think. Katakana middle dot katakana middle dot flowers katakana middle dot katakana middle dot Namikaze Minato asked, has Lord Tsuchikage and Lord Raikage not arrived yet? Shi Shangyang smiled and said, come on, according to the time, they should be there tomorrow. 35. Speaking of this, Shi Shangyang wanted to complain. I don't know what the two companies thought. At the beginning of the notice, they told Fashion Yang directly that they wanted to arrive last. What is the purpose? In fact, there is no need to explain anything, everyone understands, it is nothing more than wanting to appear in the finale, in order to show the status of one's own village. Shi Shangyang is a little confused. Shouldn't he use his own abilities to show his status? Shi Shangyang is really hard to understand. Advertisement. While we were chatting here, a female voice sounded over there. Point 0. Little Minato. Shi Shangyang turned his head and saw Shizune and the little pig Tsunade appearing outside the arena. Hash plus hash equals Shi Shangyang was a little surprised by Tsunade's appearance, but when he thought about it, he understood her intentions and couldn't help but feel a little funny. When Namikaze Minato saw Tsunade, his expression suddenly became solemn, and he hurried forward and said, Master Tsunade, why are you here? With a smile on his face, his pretty face looked bright in the sun, and said, I'm here to wait for you. Shi Shangyang didn't believe it, but Namikaze Minato did, and he said with a look of surprise, are you planning to return to the village? That's great. Tsunade did not answer directly, but said, Little Minato, I need your help. When Namikaze Minato heard the words, he suddenly sighed. Please say it, Master Tsunade. Tsunade glanced at Shi Shangyang, then shook his head. This is not the place to talk, let's talk later. Namikaze Minato didn't look into it, and nodded, I see, Tsunade-sama. Shi Shangyang didn't think there was anything wrong, he just smiled at Tsunade, frightening Shizune next to her to lean towards Tsunade. Kid, we meet again. Tsunade said. Shi Shangyang just smiled and nodded. Yeah, we have a pretty good fate. 99. Instead of breaking Tsunade's mind, he found the situation interesting. Chapter 311 Sasuke's Wonderful Journey, for subscription. Hokage and Mizukage, as distinguished guests of Tano Village, naturally have individually arranged accommodation, and the accommodation is not a simple place. They are specially prepared for VIP guests by Tano Village. The village has attached great importance to the shadows of Wuda Village. People from each village are gathered together. Similarly, each person has a special room. As Hokage, he has a special independent courtyard, and everything is clearly arranged. After being received by Tien Village, Hokage and his party have already moved in here. As the protagonists of this joint Chunin exam, the young strongmen have really opened their eyes. They had no idea that the legendary Tien Village would be so rich in Yamato. The smiles on the faces of people walking on the street are very similar to those of ordinary people in Konoha, but they have the essential difference of 23. As if all the people here are rich, and the smiles on everyone's faces reveal that a kind of satisfaction and relaxation, and the smile on the face of ordinary people in Konoha is more of a kind of stability in ordinary life. These ordinary people can't tell the difference, and the most incredible thing for Xiaoqiang is the shops they see along the way. The shops on both sides of the road are all kinds of shops, which are dazzling and dizzying. It is worth mentioning that on the way to their residence, they took the light rail transportation of Tien Village, which was the thing that hit them the most. It is unimaginable that there are cars running on the streets of TNG Village, and there are convenient means of transportation such as rail transit, which perfectly solves the problem of people's travel. They also compared Konoha and Tien Village. Konoha is also not small, but this kind of size is the most comparable to the other 4 great ninja villages, and if compared with Tien Village, the two are not comparable at all. Therefore, it is impossible for this kind of rail transit to exist in Konoha, because the size of Konoha cannot be used at all. After Hokage and his party settled down, Namikaze Minato ordered Xiaoqiang to move freely. If this was placed in other villages, he would never have issued such an order, but in Tien Village, Namikaze Minato was surprised, rest assured. In this regard, Tien Nomura does not have a good reputation, but there is still no problem in terms of safety. Namikaze Minato is aware of this fact after dealing with Tien Nomura for so long. In addition, what Tanokura has shown in the past few years, let Namikaze Minato know one thing, that is, Tanokura really disdains to use any small means, and everything is done in an upright manner. Even his Hokage envied him. With the permission of free activities, the Xiaoqiangs immediately became excited. They did not spread out, but decided to go out for a walk together and take a good look at the scenery that they just ignored. Advertisement, it's amazing here. After a group of people walked out of the residence, there was a developed commercial street in front, and Uzumaki Naruto couldn't help cheering as soon as they entered. Young people like to be lively, which is vividly expressed in Uzumaki Naruto, and most of the other Xiaoqiang are like this, looking at the shops and facilities on the street one by one, and they are dazzled. There are many people who behave like them. These people are tourists, and more are the locals of TNG Village. This kind of people is not surprised by this. When people yearn for, they will smile unconsciously. That kind of smile carries pride. After all, as a member of TNG Village, they have the qualification to be proud. Look over there, it's a ramen shop, let's go eat ramen. Uzumaki Naruto said again. This proposal was immediately rejected by Namikaze Sasuke. He said, "Idiot, shouldn't you take a good stroll at this time? Besides, you only ate before getting off the airship." 5. The other Xiaoqiang naturally wanted to visit more, but their goals were different, so someone suggested, everyone can visit separately, there are many different kinds of shops here. 35. That's right, I want to go to the ninja tool store. I heard that the ninja tools in Tiano Village are extremely good, and they are also very cheap. It would be a pity not to go and see. I want to go to the pharmacy to have a look. Tianjikun's healing talisman can't be missed. A few people discussed, and soon there was a result. The Xiaoqiangs decided to go shopping separately, so they separated on this commercial street in their respective teams. The 3 of the 7th class finally decided to go to the big shopping mall first. This kind of commercial complex that is not found elsewhere in the ninja world is still very attractive to young people like them. Entering it, the 3 teenagers were immediately surprised by the dazzling array of goods in the mall. Wow, look, there are clothes over there, shoes here, and there are daily necessities in the distance. Oh, there are medicines. What is that? Is it really okay to sell things like detonating charms here? Just now they should also come together. It seems that everyone wants everything here. Uzumaki Naruto said with wide eyes, advertisement. The expressions of Namikaze Sasuke and Haruno Sakura were not much better, and they were already dazzled by this time. What? Haruno Sakura let out a small chuckle, then pointed in a direction. What's that sign over there? Looking along the place where she pointed, she saw a fan sign. It was a separate stall, and this stall sold all kinds of cat food. Is that the Uchiha clan emblem that disappeared from the village? Haruno Sakura asked. As Namikaze Minato of Hokage, naturally he will not hide Sasuke's identity, so Namikaze Sasuke has known his identity as the adopted son of Namikaze's family during the years of growing up, and his true identity is the orphan of the Uchiha family who disappeared from Konoha. Said to be a booth, in fact, it was a separate shop in the field. There were service personnel in it. After seeing the 3 people coming in, someone immediately greeted them. Namikaze Sasuke frowned at the sign, and he already knew a lot at his age. Please subscribe. The waiter was taken aback for a moment, but still smiled and said, yes, this is Uchiha's cat food store, what do the guests need? Although the guest's question was a bit strange, the service staff nodded. Yes, I am a member of the Uchiha family. My name is Uchiha Feng. Do you have any questions? Namikaze Sasuke looked at the fan logo on the collar of one of them, frowned and said solemnly, Are you from the Uchiha clan? Namikaze Sasuke didn't know how he was feeling at the moment. He took a deep breath and asked, Are you Uchiha? It is precisely because of this that he has been paying particular attention to things related to the Uchiha clan in recent years. At this time, he saw the clan emblem of the Uchiha clan 3.1, and immediately walked over. Chapter 312 The Commercial Achievements of the Uchiha Family. Please subscribe. The Uchiha family sells cat food and pet supplies, which may seem ridiculous, but if you are a native of Tanokura, you will not be surprised. As one of the powerful ninja tribes in Tien Village, Uchiha has a high reputation in Tien Village, and because they are outsiders, the Uchiha family has been seeking to speed up their integration into Tien Village. Different from when they were in Konoha, they still had various industries as their support. After coming to Tiano Village, the Uchiha family had no clan property except for the clan land given by the village, but the Uchiha family had so many clansmen. Need to support, so in order to better integrate into the village of Tien, and to better support the clan, the Uchiha family finally decided to open a shop. The accumulation of the Uchiha clan over the past few hundred years, after the betrayal of Konoha, they all brought over, so for a period of time, the Uchiha clan invested in various places in TNG Village. I have a general understanding of the business environment of the village. In the end, not knowing which talent came up with the idea, the Uchiha family decided to invest heavily in the pet industry, because this thing is still a vast blue ocean in the village of Tien. As for why they invest in the pet industry, it is naturally the Inuzuka family who are targeting Konoha. Konoha's Inuzuka clan has almost monopolized all pet supplies sales channels in Konoha and even the Country of Fire. The money they earn every year is not a small amount. After all, raising ninja dogs is extremely expensive. Konoha mixed with wind and water, but this is a great contribution. Because of the precedent of the Inuzuka clan and the dividends from the development of TNG Village in the past few years, there are not a few ordinary families in TNG Village who have pets, but TNG Village does not have serious pet supplies sales shop. And this point just happened to be taken a fancy to by the Uchiha clan. The Uchiha family also has summoning beasts. The traditional summoning beasts of their family are ninja and ninja. The latter is rarely raised in Tien Village, but the former is different. There are many people who keep cats in Tien Village. With rich experience in cultivating ninja cats, the Uchiha family has a huge potential in this area. Coupled with sufficient financial support, the Uchiha family really made a mistake and developed this market. No, in a few years, the Uchiha family has successfully monopolized the pet industry in the country of Tien. Similar to the pet supplies store in the shopping mall, Uchiha has opened many stores in Tien Village, and each family has a Uchiha in charge. These are ordinary Uchiha people. In the past, there were no ninjas. Talented people, and now, those clansmen who do not have much ambition are in charge. Standing in front of Namikaze Sasuke at this time is such a Uchiha. Hearing Uchiha Kaze's words, Namikaze Sasuke took a deep breath, nodded slightly, and didn't say anything more. He has determined one thing, that is the news that has been circulating in Kimura, the news that the Uchiha family defected from Konoha and fled to Tien Village, is true. Advertisement in the past, Namikaze Sasuke had doubts about this kind of news. After all, he didn't investigate it, so there was no evidence to prove it, but now with the appearance of Uchiha Wind, he really confirmed it. At this time, Namikaze Sasuke's mood was a bit complicated. On the one hand, because he himself is the bloodline of the Uchiha family, since he became sensible, his senses towards the Uchiha family have been very complicated, with yearning and indifference, and he can't even tell what his attitude towards the Uchiha family is. On the other hand, he wanted to figure out why he became his father's adopted son in the first place, and wanted to know whether he was abandoned. This question has troubled him for a long time, but he has never had an answer. But now, it looks like the answer will soon be unraveled. Guest, do you need anything? Uchiha Feng asked. Before Namikaze Sasuke could speak, Uzumaki Naruto asked, is it the Uchiha clan? I wonder where I heard that name. 55. Haruno Sakura whispered, idiot, it's the Uchiha clan who defected from Konoha. Uzumaki Naruto immediately reacted, oh, that's right, that Uchiha is here, did you really defect to Tien Village? Uchiha Feng had long seen that they were Konoha's ninjas, because the three of them were wearing Konoha's forehead protector, but he was not worried about anything, which was also the confidence that he had in Tien Village for the past few years. Guest, I can't say anything about this matter, Uchiha said. They are the rebels of the village, shall we do it? Uzumaki Naruto asked in a low voice. Haruno Sakura touched Vortex Naruto with his arm, signaling him not to talk nonsense. Namikaze Sasuke took a deep breath and said solemnly, I want to visit the Uchiha clan, is that okay? Uchiha Feng was very surprised. He looked at Uzumaki Naruto and Haruno Sakura, and then looked at Namikaze Sasuke. When he saw Namikaze Sasuke's face that was very similar to the patriarch, he was immediately surprised. You are Uchiha Sasuke. Advertisement. It was only at this time that he remembered that there was something about Sasuke, the youngest son of the patriarch Fugaku, which had almost become a taboo among the Konoha clan. You know me? Sasuke frowned, but shook his head and said, my name is Namikaze Sasuke, not Uchiha Sasuke, don't make a mistake. Uchiha was taken aback for a moment, and then he reacted, and then he remembered that this child had been adopted by someone other than Uchiha since he was a child, and it seems that the person who adopted him was Hokage of Konoha. At that time, the news spread among the clan for a period of time, and finally because of the betrayal from Konoha and the order of the clan leader Fugaku, this news gradually disappeared. But looking at Sasuke's appearance, Uchiha Feng felt that this child did not seem to identify with the Uchiha family, and the surname was Namikaze instead of Uchiha, which has already explained the problem. Well, I can't make this decision, I can ask the patriarch for you, Uchiha said. Namikaze Sasuke nodded. I have a job, I will live in the reception area recently, you can find me there, 99. Uchiha nodded when he heard the news. The reception area? It's the welcome area, I understand, I will inform you when there is news, 35. Namikaze Sasuke nodded, glanced at the pet supply store again, and then turned around and walked out without saying a word. Wait a minute, Sasuke, why don't you just hang around here? Uzumaki Naruto asked. I want to go back. Namikaze Sasuke's head is also not Kaido. Huh? It's so boring. Uzumaki Naruto exclaimed. Chapter 313 The Huge Gap Between Konoha and Tien Village, please subscribe. While the three of the 7th squad were unsure of what to do next because of Sasuke's emotions, Hokage Namikaze Minato was having a conversation with Tsunade in the living quarters of the Konoha shinobi people on the other side. There were only Namikaze Minato and Tsunade in the living room, and everyone else was guarding the outside. Obviously this conversation was very confidential. Namikaze Minato frowned and said solemnly, Master Tsunade's blood has been given to Shi Shangyang, and from what I know about him, he will definitely make a fuss about this, so next, we should come up with a countermeasure. Apparently Tsunade had already told Namikaze Minato what had happened before. Namikaze Minato's serious words seemed to be fine, but Tsunade can hear the inner meaning. Obviously, Namikaze Minato is a little bit complaining. Although he didn't say it clearly, Tsunade can naturally feel it. Tsunade coughed, scratched his cheeks, looked aside, and said in a slightly guilty tone, this is something that can't be helped. That guy used wood style as a bargaining chip. I really can't refuse, you know. Wood style? Namikaze Minato's brows furrowed even tighter after hearing this. The fact that Shi Shangyang will know wood style is not a secret to Konoha. The reason is that in the past few years, the ninjas who perform tasks outside Tien Village have exposed some wood style ninjutsu more or less. This thing can be traced back to the source, and the problem must lie with Shi Shangyang, which is not difficult to guess. When he first discovered this, Konoha also sent someone to investigate, but he didn't get too many clues. He only knew that almost every one of the ninjas who came out of Tiano village had masters in wood style. It is very difficult for Yi to accept. But after a long time, you have to accept it if you don't accept it. And after a long investigation, Konoha also analyzed certain information. They found that the ninjas in Tien village were not masters of the wood style, but they could use the wood style through some kind of ninja gear on their bodies. This made Konoha a little relaxed, and at the same time, he became more curious. Advertisement: what kind of ninja gear can make a ninja without wood style's blood successor, master wood style, the power to end the troubled world? This is the thing Konoha is most curious about and wants to figure out the most. It's a pity that it is undoubtedly very difficult to figure out such a secret from Tien Jamura. Even if Tien Jamura puts that kind of ninja tool in front of Konoha, Konoha may not be able to figure it out. What Konoha's people don't know is that what makes Tanokura Ninja Master Wood Style is not actually a ninja tool. Of course, strictly speaking, it can also be classified into the category of ninja gear. After all, White Zetsu armament is similar in nature to armor, and its most basic function is defense, but White Zetsu armament is not only for defense, but also has a wider range of use only. That's right, the one who made Tanokura Ninja Master Wood Style is naturally White Zetsu armed. But don't forget, White Zetsu is a creation of the God Tree, and the body naturally carries White Zetsu cells with the characteristics of the God Tree. After years of research, the wood style ability in the White Zetsu cells is activated, and the White Zetsu cells are eliminated and suppressed at the same time. That terrifying erosive force was not too difficult for Tien Nomura. However, the wood style used by the White Zetsu armament is naturally incomparable to the first Hokage Senju Hashirama. In the hands of Senju Hashirama, wood style is the terrible power to end the troubled times, and it is placed in the hands of the ninjas in Tien village. Wood style is at most the level of Yamato in the original plot. It will not be said to be a green ninjutsu, but it is also limited in strength. But even so, the wood style used by Tanomura ninjas is a powerful ninjutsu in the ninja world. Moreover, this kind of ability is still the only one in Tien Jamura. Others can't master it at all, not to mention the jealousy of Konoha's people. They can't wait to figure out the secret right away. Unfortunately, after all these years, they still have a mediocre harvest. Yes, wood style. In Tsunade's narration, Shi Shangyang used wood style as bait to hook her. She had experienced some inner struggles, but because she was carrying the Senju bloodline, she didn't want her grandfather's power to be mastered by others, so she had no choice but to agree in the end. She didn't say anything about her promise to Shi Shangyang, and the reason why she was confident that she was gambled, anyway, it was to pick her up from it. Namikaze Minato didn't bother about this issue, but after thinking for a moment, he said, "I see, Lord Tsunade. I hope that after this joint Chunin exam, you can go back to the village. Regarding wood style, I will use Hokage. I will send an official note to Tien Jamura as my identity. At the same time, I will also use this matter to put pressure on Tien Jamura, and I need to feel the adults and you will come forward in person." Advertisement: let me go back. Tsunade shook his head. What a joke, I managed to escape from the village with great difficulty, and I would definitely not be happy to let me go back at this time. Before she could say anything about her refusal, Namikaze Minato said solemnly, "Home, Lord Tsunade. The situation in Konoha is very dangerous now. You should know that with the strength of the country of Tien and the strength of the village of Tien, it may be even now. The alliance of Wu Danin village is not necessarily an opponent. I hope that you can focus on the overall situation, Mr. Tsunade. You must come forward in this matter, and we Konoha can take the initiative." Tsunade opened his mouth, and his pretty face was full of confusion. Namikaze Minato said, "Also, if my expectations are not bad, this joint Chunin exam will definitely be the genius of Tien village, and the teenagers here are definitely better than the teenagers in Wu Danin village. At that time, Tsunade-sama, you have to take care of yourself and cultivate better talents for Konoha." Hearing Namikaze Minato's words, Tsunade's brows furrowed. She didn't expect that as Hokage, she would say such a thing. "Are you sure? Could it be that the children that Konoha brought here this time are all ordinary children?" Tsunade asked. Namikaze Minato shook his head helplessly and sighed. "No, the people brought from the village this time are all the best children among the various ninja tribes in the village, and they can be said to be geniuses. Their overall quality, it can even be said that the Konoha Shinobi School has had the best batch in years. Since it's the best batch, why are you still so unsure?" Tsunade didn't understand. Namikaze Minato shook his head slightly. "Sir Tsunade, you don't know anything. According to the information sent back by our people in Tien village, they already have no less than 20 ninja schools, and every ninja school has no less than 20 schools. The number of students is more than that of Konoha's ninja school. You should know what this means." Tsunade's face suddenly became solemn when he heard the words. With a large number of ninja schools and a large number of students, with such a large base, the probability of appearing geniuses is even greater. Coupled with the unique training mode of Tien village, Tsunade dared not imagine that in this situation, Tien what kind of talented budding dragon will be in the village. Chapter 314 Konoha's Compromise, for subscription. Tsunade can naturally understand what this means. As one of Konoha's top executives, even though she has been away from Konoha for several years, she is not lacking at all. Hearing Namikaze Minato say this, she immediately realized the seriousness of the matter. Damn, doesn't this mean that this joint Chunin exam is itself a conspiracy of Tien Jamura? She gritted her teeth. Namikaze Minato shook his head and smiled bitterly. A conspiracy? It shouldn't be called a conspiracy, or a conspiracy is more accurate. Everyone knows what Tien Jamura wants to do, but no one can stop it, even if we know Shi Shangyang's plan. But in the face of such an opportunity, Wu Da Ren Village and other small ninja villages in the ninja world still have to come to participate, otherwise, the era of Wu Da Ren Village will be completely ended. In fact, the same is true. In the face of Tien Jamura's open and above-mentioned proposal, other ninja villages have no way of rejecting it, because anyone with a discerning eye can see that this joint Chunin exam will definitely be a grand event in the ninja world. Every village wants to show your strength in this grand event. If any village misses this opportunity, it will surely miss this era in the future. So even if he is reluctant, Namikaze Minato, who is Hokage, will agree, and this is the reality. Tsunade gritted his teeth, took a deep breath, and became solemn, saying, "After this incident, I will return to the village, Minato, regarding the blood that was taken from me. This matter must be resolved as soon as possible." 35. Namikaze Minato nodded and his face became serious. "I understand. I will send a note to Shi Shangyang about this matter. It belongs to Senju's bloodline and cannot be spread out so casually." Tsunade nodded, still feeling a little guilty. If it wasn't for her impulse, this matter wouldn't be what it is now. Konoha's side is passive as a whole. It must be as soon as possible. If I wait until after this joint Chunin exam, I am afraid that they will directly use my blood to do weird experiments. Tsunade's worries are not unreasonable. Shi Shangyang's previous joke, but Tsunade has to take it seriously. If she really uses her blood to make some offspring, what should she think? It's a headache just thinking about it. Namikaze Minato thought for a while, then nodded and said, "Okay, I'll send someone to contact Shi Shangyang now, but how to deal with it? I need you, Master Tsunade, with me." Tsunade sighed and nodded in agreement. She knew that the free, BEDB, life before was far away from herself, and it seemed that she could only stay in Konoha in the future. Advertisement they negotiated properly, and soon there were people from Konoha who communicated with people from Tien Village, explaining that Hokage wanted to meet the leader of Tien Village. When he heard the news, Shi Shangyang was not surprised. He just smiled slightly. He knew why Namikaze Minato wanted to see him, and he even guessed that Tsunade would be there as soon as he heard it. No one needed to monitor it. Naturally, it was because of Tsunade's blood. Thing. In this regard, Shi Shangyang did not refuse, because he knew that this would be the result. Soon, Shi Shangyang brought people to the residence of Konoha and his party, and met Namikaze Minato and Tsunade in a parlor. When the two sides met, Tsunade had a stinky face and looked at Shi Shangyang with a bad look in his eyes, while Namikaze Minato had a gentle face and a smile. It was obvious that the two sides planned to sing the white face and the black face. But that means nothing to Shi Shangyang. The two sides exchanged greetings for a moment, and then directly entered the theme. "I did take the blood of Lord Tsunade. Perhaps Lord Hokage should know that Tien Jamura has always invested a lot in exploring the unknown. For me, the blood of the Senju family may be hidden in the blood that can be solved. Follow the secret of boundaries." Shi Shangyang got straight to the point. For Shi Shangyang's statement, Namikaze Minato agrees with a part. He knows that Tien Nomura is very good at development and research, and it covers a wide range of fields. Whether it is the development of ninjutsu or the research of chakra, they are all in the ninja world. In the forefront, so Shi Shangyang has the confidence to say such words. "But Hikaru-kun, don't you think it's wrong to do so?" Namikaze Minato said. Even if he is Hokage, when facing Shi Shangyang, he can't force it too much. Cloud Shinobi a few years ago is a lesson from the past, so Namikaze Minato has always been very careful in handling the relationship between the two sides. This is also something that can't be helped. Although Tien Jamura has always been very peaceful in recent years, the strength alone is enough to make everyone in the ninja world take it seriously. It can be said that no one in Wu Da Nin village in the ninja world today can afford to anger TNG village. This is the reality. Shi Shangyang shrugged slightly, and said with a somewhat strange expression, "I'm sorry that I got her blood from Lord Tsunade by gambling, but without this method, Lord Tsunade would not give me her blood. Did I tell you that I want to study the blood of the Senju family? Will you be willing to cooperate?" Advertisement Namikaze Minato frowned slightly, and the smile on his face gradually faded, but Tsunade slapped the table. "Kid, you obviously planned this in advance." Shi Shangyang nodded, finally admitting without concealment. "That's right, otherwise, Lord Tsunade wouldn't agree, right?" Shi Shangyang's attitude made Tsunade a little hard to accept. Shi Shangyang's expression was strange. "But this meeting today, I didn't think of it, or is this what Tsunade's so-called resignation means?" This was obviously sarcasm out of Namikaze Minato's face. Tsunade took a deep breath, suppressed the anger in his heart, and said, "You can study the Senju bloodline, but you must have my supervision." This is her compromise after careful consideration, because the reality is like this: Tien Jiguo's strength is shocking. She can't make Konoha and Tien Jamura fight again because of this matter. The war a few years ago must never happen again. That would be a disaster for Konoha. Hearing what Tsunade said, Namikaze Minato, who is Hokage, was obviously relieved. He was also afraid that Tsunade would get angry regardless, which would affect the peaceful relationship between the two sides. Shi Shangyang smiled slightly, looked at Namikaze Minato and said, "Lord Hokage, is that what you mean too?" Namikaze Minato knew that since Tsunade's blood was in Shi Shangyang's hands, it would definitely not be possible to get it back, but as Tsunade said, no matter what the other party did with his blood, it was best to have someone from Konoha's side. As a supervisor, after all, Senju is Konoha's Senju, and this kind of thing is also related to Konoha's interests and safety. Yes, this matter must be supervised by someone from Konoha. It's very firm, but it's not a compromise. Chapter 315 Plans for Tsunade, subscribe. Hearing what Namikaze Minato said, Shi Shangyang suddenly laughed, and then nodded slightly. Since you both have this attitude, then, I agree. Tsunade thought that Shi Shangyang wouldn't agree, and subconsciously wanted to say something, but he didn't expect Shi Shangyang to agree directly, and he couldn't say what he said later, and the whole person was stunned for a moment. What did you say? You agreed? Tsunade asked in surprise. Shi Shangyang nodded. That's right, I did agree. Why? Lord Tsunade looked surprised. Do you think I won't agree? Saying that, Shi Shangyang chuckled lightly and then said, this is you guys. It is too important to take this thing seriously. To be honest, although the blood of the Senju family is precious, it is nothing to me. What I'm looking for is only the answer that may be contained in the blood of your Excellency Tsunade. As for the others, I really don't care much. Seemingly seeing Tsunade's disbelief, Shi Shangyang shook his head slightly. That's what I said, I just want to crack the secrets of the Shueiji boundary, and I won't use this blood for other things. Lord Tsunade and Hokage, since your Excellency does not believe it, you can supervise it. Anyway, this will not cause any loss to our Tien village. Tsunade and Namikaze Minato looked at each other, and both saw a strange look in each other's eyes. It seemed that neither of them thought that Shi Shangyang would agree so simply. But, just when the two were relaxing a little, Shi Shangyang spoke again, which immediately made them nervous. There is a sentence I need to explain to the two of you in advance. The blood is provided by Lord Tsunade, so it is naturally no problem for Lord Tsunade to supervise, but this does not mean that Konoha has any rights in this regard. I hope the two you can understand. Logically speaking, as a bet, that tube of blood now belongs to the village of Tien, and Tsunade, as the provider of blood, does have a certain right of supervision from his own point of view, and Konoha does not have the right to supervise in this regard. A right. Hearing this, Namikaze Minato frowned and said solemnly, I don't agree with this statement. Master Tsunade is the princess of Konoha, and her blood naturally belongs to Konoha, there is no doubt about it. Shi Shangyang sneered. Is this the so-called ninja as a tool? Namikaze Minato's face is not very good looking, but he did not deny it, because this is the reality of the ninja world. And Tsunade had no other reaction and seemed to agree with this idea. Advertisement Shi Shangyang said, we don't need to argue about this kind of thing, Lord Hokage, and Lord Tsunade. I know what you two mean, then I'll tell you my answer. With a slight pause in his tone, Shi Shangyang's expression also became serious. Supervisor is fine, I have no objection, because Tien-ji-kun did not intend to conceal this from the very beginning. Since you are not at ease, then it is not appropriate for you to supervise by the side. No, but, if you want to supervise, then send someone with weight. After all, this is also related to some secrets of Tien village, but we don't trust you Konoha people, so the only way to deal with it is that it is to let His Excellency Tsunade personally supervise it, and I believe that if it is handled like this, both you and us will be relieved a lot. This is even if the picture is poor. After taking such a big turn, Shi Shangyang finally revealed his purpose, but the two of them never thought of what he was trying to do. When Namikaze Minato heard this, his brows loosened, and he actually agreed with this proposal. To send someone over, not to mention Tien-ji-kun's unwillingness, he is not very relieved, because there is a possibility that one of the people sent will be instigated. But changing to Tsunade is different. As the granddaughter of first Hokage Senju Hashirama who built the village, Tsunade has no chance of betraying the village at all. And another point, since this is what Shi Shangyang requested, Tsunade can even become a bright-faced spy. This is definitely good news for Konoha. Tsunade was also very moved. She and Namikaze Minato thought of going together. After hearing what Shi Shangyang said, she agreed without any hesitation. I agree. It seems that this is the only way to make Konoha and Tien village feel at ease. As the owner of the blood, it is also the best solution for me to supervise, Tsunade said. Shi Shangyang nodded, but smiled again inexplicably. It is true, but there is one thing Lord Tsunade said wrongly. That tube of blood now belongs to Tien Jimura. Tsunade pouted, not arguing with Shi Shangyang on such details. In fact, she was still a little overjoyed, and felt that Shi Shangyang had made a stupid decision. For flowers. Leaving her in Konoha and letting her supervise the experiment is obviously to let her master some of the research secrets, and she won't miss this opportunity. Namikaze Minato breathed a sigh of relief and said, if that's the case, I have no opinion on my side. Advertisement to be honest, he was very fortunate that the matter could be resolved in this way. There was no obvious disagreement between Hichan village. At least the two sides could resolve this matter reasonably and gently, which was the biggest surprise to him. As Hokage, facing Tien village all these years, all he can feel is pressure, and the pressure is getting heavier every year. Therefore, when dealing with matters related to Tien-ji-kun, he has always been extremely careful, which has to be said to be a kind of sadness. Point 0. The two sides dealt with the matter well, and there was no such tense atmosphere. They quickly changed the topic, and it was tacit, and then they talked about the joint Chunin exam. After a long time, Shi Shangyang left alone. He did not go anywhere, but came to the underground laboratory. In a separate laboratory, I met Orochimaru, who was busy. After developing living corpse reincarnation, Orochimaru wanted to find a new body for reincarnation a few years ago, but was stopped by Shi Shangyang, because he felt that if he cracked the secret of the blood continuum, he would cultivate a new body after that. If he reincarnates again, Orochimaru himself will undergo earth-shaking changes. He naturally knew what Shi Shangyang was going to do. In fact, regarding the bloodline of the Senju family, he suggested Shi Shangyang to find a way from Tsunade. Please subscribe. Inch. Shi Shangyang curled his lips. I just hope that when you meet, don't fight directly. Orochimaru hummed and said, don't worry about this kind of thing. I'm not interested in fighting with that crazy woman. Shi Shangyang smiled and nodded. The Konoha side promised Tsunade to stay and supervise the experiment. How's it going? Orochimaru asked without looking up. It really is. It looks like it won't be long before Tsunade can't escape your hands. Orochimaru said. And Orochimaru also followed Shi Shangyang's advice, and the two still had a tacit understanding in this regard.